Okay, guys, we are live. So for those listening at home, welcome to the Live from the Sword Coast podcast. My name is Kevin Madison, and I will be your friendly dungeon master this evening. Tonight, we are continuing on with our ongoing, Demon Lord, our ongoing Dungeons and Dragons 4th edition campaign, playing the Scales of War adventure path, slightly modified. So we're going to get some D&D on tonight. We are pretty late starting because we're down 2 party members, and that apparently means that the party falls apart. So we've had a great deal of difficulty getting this road on the show, as it were. With us tonight, I'll go in order that you guys logged in again. Several of our usual cast of players. First up is Jeffrey.
Hello, everybody.
Why don't you tell us who you're playing?
I am playing Oberon Bloodhoof, one half of the Bloodhoof brothers.
That is right. The notorious Bloodhoof brothers. Next in order of logging in is James.
Hello.
I love that you've got your camera where it's frozen in place with you doing kind of a beatbox thing, and then you moving on Brent's camera.
Cool.
Oh, now you're on another call. You're on twice. Oh, man. James and James and James. He's multiplying. And then last but not least is Brent. Oh, James, who are you playing, by the way?
I am playing Ember, a female tiefling.
Yes. Yeah. And last up, Brent, what are you playing? And say hi.
Hey, and I am also playing, or I am playing a...
You're actually off.
Bunk named Halen Windspeaker.
Brent, you are off camera.
Okay,
Hello.
I'm going to push up to James.
Yeah. Okay, so let me just make the transition over to Roll20 here, guys, and then we will get with the gaming. So last, who would like to say where we were at the end of the last session, guys?
Is this a quiz?
It is not, but remember there are rewards for doing well on this.
I vaguely remember being in a dragon horde after vanquishing a dragon with our pick of treasure.
Uh-huh.
The last
Maybe I should have made it if it wasn't explicit in the warning. There are rewards. There are also penalties as well.
Are there penalties for goblins casting sleep on you?
Yes. James was unfortunately set upon by a vicious goblin hex hurler last session, and he fell asleep for the last half an hour.
All I remember is a bunch of wolf riders, goblin wolf riders showing up and crying as they're cool, and then I passed out.
Yes, that is about right.
But the visuals were awesome. The fact that the mic would pop up and pick up his snoring, and then you would see the waves on the monitor every time. Cool.
All right, I'm going to, I got to do some jiggery-pokery with my camera here to get things to work, and then I'll swap us over to
I'm an idiot. Thanks.
Roll20. So everybody's in Roll20. I think the only person's mic or camera is working in there is actually James right now. And I think I'm working now. Let's see. I'm working now. So my camera's working. Oh, Halen's camera is working. Ember's is not, and Oberon's is not.
What about now?
Oh, yeah, bingo. Here we go. So everybody's camera is working in Roll20. Outstanding. Let me set this here. Present to everyone. Brilliant. Okay, so where our session, no one gets any rewards because Brent's full of shit, and you guys don't. The other ones don't remember. Where you guys had passed was last session we opened with you guys arriving in Drellin's Ferry. I'm not on Roll20. I was just fooled by my own screen. As you guys arrived in Drellin's Ferry, where you met a shopkeep who sold you, was sort of in awe of our heroes. You met a couple different barkeeps. You stayed in some of you guys stayed in a halfling-run establishment called, I don't remember what it's called offhand. Actually, it's not really important for the purpose of the summary. You stayed around there. You did some commerce, and then you guys set out on the road to Brindle, to the next sort of leg of your journey. You passed through Tarleton, and remember Tarleton had that was where it was very flat and dry, and there was a lot of ranching and treatments of hides and whatnot in Tarleton, but there wasn't really much in the way. Oh, the Tarleton, I think, is the place that had the three-eyed beholder or cross-eyed beholder tavern where you stayed, but you had to sleep on the floor. You then made your way to Nymon Gap, where there was a bunch of orchards of apples, pears, and similar fruits, much more hilly than what Tarleton was. And then you set out on your way to Talar. On the road to Talar, thanks to Halen's keen senses, you guys detected that there was a band of wolf riding goblins that were going to set upon you. And you thankfully took steps to try to set up a strong defense, but due to bad communication amongst the party, we ended up having 2 people ran one direction and 3 people ran in the other. So
no, Rakis ran in the totally wrong direction, and Oberon, his brother, did not desert him.
There you go. Yeah. So notwithstanding the poor planning on the part of our heroes, they did survive the encounter and managed to actually recover some pretty sweet pieces of loot as well. Where we ended last time was with you guys arriving, and again, just you may remember that the whole trip here has just been beset by you have been beset by just the worst weather. It's been raining and miserable for most of the days, cold. So it really has not been a very pleasant journey. Fortunately, thanks to the cold weather clothing that you picked up and some pretty darn good rolls, you guys haven't been affected by it terribly. But yeah, there it was. Here was our last scene, guys, was this wolf attack. Ba-ba-ba.
Right.
Halen, you will want to spend some healing surges because you are currently sitting at 4 hit points.
I thought Jeff's told us at the end of that encounter.
Well, no, you still have to spend healing surges in order to heal. Remember that 4th edition, every time you use anything that grants healing, like a healing potion or someone else's power, what it does is it allows you to access your healing surges.
Yeah.
So,
all right. Right now, for some reason, my sheet's telling I'm at 0 hit points, which I'm assuming is not true.
Hold on.
I don't remember going unconscious at all.
1 second here. Your character sheet. Yeah, you've got it 0. That is not the case. It should be at 20. No, it should be at 4, because that's what you're at right now. What you guys need to do, remember the tokens, because these character sheets, or the way the character sheets are set up, your tokens will not automatically translate over to your character sheet. So you need to make sure you're making those adjustments yourself. Brent, I corrected at the end of the last session. You used a healing potion last session, but you didn't mark one of your surges, so I marked that for you. That's why you have 6 current. So, Brent, you're the only one who's actually kind of banged up right now, so you go ahead and spend whatever surges you want. Remember, you're gaining 5 points for each one spent.
Right.
And then you are, I'll just let you do that, and then I'll pick up where the session opens. So last we left, you guys were riding up towards Talar. And remember that let me move ourselves back over here. Boom. As you were riding towards it, Talar had a small fortified, no, sorry, it doesn't have a fortified wall around it, but there is a big keep that appears on in sort of like silhouetted with the lightning that sort of arcs across the sky. You can see on a hill. And Ember, why don't you give me? Let's see how knowledgeable you are. Give me a history check, will you?
Okay.
Did we spend the night whereby after the goblin attack, or I'm guessing we left?
Well, you probably would have spent the night, but remember, Brent, like, Jesus, it's like talking to an Etch-a-Sketch sometimes, man. Remember, we're using the travel rules.
28.
You're not sleeping at night doesn't mean that you're going to recover your healing surges?
No, I wasn't asking about that.
Okay. Well, yeah, you would have slept the night.
Okay. I was saying it might be cool to take some, I don't know, wolfskin pelts if they're in decent condition.
Yeah, you could. I mean, the wolves are probably all branded with the mark of the red hand. So like but I mean, you could probably get
not much.
Yeah, I mean, you may be able to get a couple hides if you want for you know, I don't know, like just for like an accessory type thing.
Yeah, accessory or warmth or whatever. Sure. I think it's like I'm thinking if the Elvish culture is sort of tribal, they probably make use of stuff like this as a sort of like a practical.
We use every part of the buffalo.
Not every part.
Yeah, that's fine. So you
that lets me use my nature skill for something.
Yeah, sure. No, that's fine. That's cool. So you guys get yeah, you've crafted something. You can tell me later what you think you crafted out of it. You can be like mittens or like a scarf or whatever. Everyone scoffs at mittens until it gets really cold. Then everyone wants mittens.
Hey, Oberon, here's some mittens. Thank you for healing me. I made you some.
Yeah,
okay.
Oberon will take some wolf mittens.
So, that's right. He's from the open plains. After having gone over the Wyrmsmoke Mountains, I think he'd be quite happy to have some what do you call it? Some mittens, even though he's got fur. Yeah. Okay, so Amber, what you remember is that like seeing a full-on keep here is sort of, it's unusual. You know, like this is not the kind of region where there's a keep built in every community. A keep is a sign of nobility, right? It's someone who has control over enough territory and access to enough wealth to be able to finance something like that. So this is something from a bygone, a bygone age, as it were. But as you guys are sort of, you notice that you see the outline of the keep atop that hill, slightly, maybe about 200 yards or so away. You feel that familiar sort of butterflies feeling in your stomach, and you quickly sort of all look around, trying to do a quick, head count. Amber, you're looking for Xavier, and what you realize is that Rackus is missing. So it is the three of you. Now let me position you guys when this happens. You guys are on a bridge that is crossing a little stream. So let me fade out the people who ain't here. Rackus, I'm just gonna move you over here. Boom. Xavier, you're over here. All right. So, oh, and Brent, what's your hit points right now?
22. I used 4 healing surges.
Okay, great. All right. So, just as an FYI, guys, the recap I was asking for, if you guys offer the recap, that is one of the ways you can get your healing surges back. Yeah. If you do a recap or if you do things like that, I will offer you. That's my little way of thanking you. So, just for future reference.
I'll be less facetious in my recaps next time.
Good call.
Well, I just honestly couldn't remember enough details to do it justice.
Well, fair enough. We've played, I think, 2 other different games altogether in the interim, Jeff. So, yeah. Okay. So, what do you guys you see that Oberon has faded out, and then let me see here. What's of the remaining party members? Let's see here. Amber, your passive perception is not great. Oberon's pretty good. And Halen is amazing. Okay, so Halen and Oberon over the sound of the falling water and the rushing, the falling rain and the water rushing underneath the bridge, it's been raining for several days, so the creek or river or whatnot that runs underneath this bridge is really rushing along at a good clip. But even over that, you hear the sound of and then Halen, you're the only one who hears this. You hear a and you think you see something move about maybe 5 feet in front of you on the ground very quickly. And it's the source of that sound.
Can I tell what it is?
If you crouch down and sort of, look around, why don't you give me a perception check? This is going to be a fairly easy thing to do, but I want to see if you can get it done in 1 round. 14. Okay, hold up. Where's my... Whoa.
And why is I crouch down to say what it is, I'll tell everyone to get down. Horns.
Okay. Oberon, you assume that he's just called you horns.
No, that's Rackus, and it's horny.
Oh, you don't have
Okay, so, sorry, where the freaking hell is it? There we go, thank you. Yes, okay, so you do find it, Halen. It is 2 bits of a broken arrow. Someone just shot at you.
I'll say we're being attacked. Get down.
Okay, so what do you guys do? Amber, the kitty kind of hisses at the darkness. I can't imagine that kitty's super pleased about being dripping wet either. But
At the darkness? What darkness?
towards the town is on the right side of the bridge here, guys.
Is that the direction the arrow came from?
It is. And that's also the sound, the direction the horn came from the direction of the town.
Can I, if I take a look, can I make out what's shooting at us or too far away?
You can try, Brent. I'm going to give you -2 to your roll just because of the ambient conditions.
I'm ducking behind the tree.
So you're going to run to the edge of the bridge first?
Yep.
Okay, and then hop over there. Okay. All right. Brent, give me a perception check, will you? Please.
I like 14.
You do. I don't. You can't quite make it out. You know, the combination of your eyes are certainly more keen than what the average humans is. But even then, like the pouring rain and whatnot, what I will say you're able to pick out, Brent, is another arrow hits the ground on the bridge, missing you.
Can I look to see where it's coming from?
Sure, you can give it a try. I can't remember. Do tieflings have any kind of low light vision or anything like that?
Oh, this is evening. I think they actually
Should say on your character sheet.
Yep, low light.
Okay, cool. So then I will give you the same chances as Brent. Take -2 your roll. Give me a perception check, please.
That's not correct. Is there any cover on the bridge, Kev?
Not any obvious cover. There, you could sort of like duck. You see where the those pillars are on the bridge?
Right.
You may be able to try and get cover there. Ember. Okay, but so -2 means that's a 15.
Plus, so he gets +1 because of my elvish perception. I think he's
yeah. So it's a 16. So still not quite good enough. So, but what you will hear though, Amber, is you think you hear the sound of heavy hoof prints or hoof falls coming from the direction of the town.
Okay, I'm going to yell for the guys to get off the road. There's horseback coming.
Okay. Oberon, what are you doing during this?
Well, as soon as he sees, Ember run and hide, then he would probably get off the bridge as well.
Okay. Well,
Probably to the other side, so probably like over here.
Okay.
And I guess Kitty will.
Yeah, you can move Kitty as well too. Okay. So at that,
You have a chance to move as well, or
sure, Brent. Yeah, go ahead. Were you going to crouch up against one of the? I guess here's the thing.
That was the plan, but if I see everyone else run off from the bridge, I'm not gonna hang out there by myself. I'll come up by James.
Okay. So you go racing over, and you're both sort of crouching behind that tree. And it's at that point you hear you hear as well, Brent, the heavy hoof prints of or the hoof falls. The sounds of hooves. There we go. Of at least one, well, at least two, I should say, possibly more horses. And then over the sound of the falling rain and whatnot, you hear first. Actually, hold on, I need to grab something. Come here. Oh, this is one of my new favorite supplements, by the way, the Xanatar's Guide to Everything, only because it's got a shit ton of names in the back of it. Love it. Here we go. So you hear a man's voice, deep and gravelly, yells out, "For Rhestilovar!" And then charging into view, let me get the proper thing here, is on horseback. Boom, this guy.
Whoa, he's huge.
Well, he's on horseback, so it's the size of his... it's not representative of how big the human is, it's how much area him and his horse take up.
Okay.
And then you also hear, because both Ember and Halen, you rolled so well in your perception checks, someone yell out, "Cato, no!" And the person who seems to be calling that is mounted on another horse and is right behind him. Boom.
Hornet?
Dressed like that. And let me move these. The token layer, and I'll move back to token layer. Okay. What I would like you guys to do, please, is to roll initiative. So remember that you need to click on your token and then roll initiative. Let me get the initiative tracker open here. I'm going to clear it. Clear. Hold on. Remove all turns. Clear. Here we go. Brilliant. Nice one. Ember, that is not good.
All my good rolls got wasted in the
I feel like there's a lesson to be learned here.
Where's initiative on the sheet, roughly?
Don't worry. I think it's on the first page.
Yeah. Oberon's very fast.
Okay, I'm just checking what... all right. Actually, I guess you did hear someone else call out his name, so let me just quickly add a name on here.
Cato.
Cato.
The only Cato I know is Cato Kalen.
The only Cato, I guess one of this, that's two Catos then. Cato I know is Cato,
from Green Hornet.
No, a Roman politician.
Isn't like the Green Hornets dude's name?
Yeah,
Cato?
it's also called Cato.
If the guy with Knight's Shield has a hornet on a green background.
It does not. Again, and he speaks to our different priorities that my thought goes to Roman politician and you go to Green Hornet. All right, guys. So in this case, Brent, I'm going to assume you've got a higher dex than what Cato does. So you will be up first. This Cato has raised above his head a real vicious-looking mace. The other guy riding behind him, Knight 2, in the darker armor, he has a longsword drawn, but it's not raised to strike. If you were to guess, you would guess he's the one who called out at Cato. He has a much younger sounding voice as well. It's more melodious and less, grizzled and old.
Okay. None of them I have bows, so there must be other people. Those pillars on the sort of like the thick things on the corners of the bridge.
Yep.
How would they support? How tall are they, and would they support my weight?
I think they're probably about 5 feet up, and they're all made of stone. So absolutely, it's a stone bridge. So it would certainly support your weight if you chose to hop up on there.
Are you a plump elf?
I hope not. I don't think I've got that much food yet.
You're rotund?
I'm in the skinny side. I'm a big fan of beef, but current party members frown upon me eating the beef. So, I guess maybe what I'll do is what is one guy like in mid-charge? If we were looking at it from like a movie-wise,
movie-wise, the muddy road. Well, it's cobblestone because this is still all part of the Dawn Way. So this is a dwarven road, but like the mud that has rushed on there is being kicked up, and the water being kicked up behind this thing. Conversely, Cato is on a almost coal black, like destrier charger, and the knight in the darker armor, the kind of like slate gray armor, is on a white or like light gray warhorse. And yeah, they're coming at full tilt, like they're coming down upon you.
Okay, so when
came out of nowhere.
Attacking, I'll yell. How does this sound, Kev?
Yep.
Minor action, just a move action to leap up onto the pillar, or actually this might not work. A minor action instead to say, "Hold, we are not foes," and then hold or ready in action to like set my spear against the charge, in case overtures.
Remember, there are, and this is not to tell you what to do, but remember, you can take defensive actions in this game too. You can choose to defend, and remember, this isn't like in other versions of D&D where like a +2 or whatever else is not a big deal. Like the benefit you would get from taking a defense is something more substantial than just,
Okay, so what I'll do to make myself like visible and obvious, then I'll hop up on the pole and put out one hand and go, "Halt, we are not foes."
Okay. Would you? Yeah, shit. You know what? You're the least charming, I think, of all these people.
Totally. And I'll take a defensive stance. But I'm not trying to be like be pleasant or I'm just trying to like look like I'm not being aggressive.
No, I don't mean this to say that to deter you from doing that. I mean just say that it's going to be funny to see your character. You are also the most human looking. So, there's that too.
Right, too. I forgot about the sideshow I'm traveling with.
Oh yeah, totally. Okay, so Brent, why don't you give me a diplomacy check, please.
All right. Come on, positive result. Ooh, holy shit.
That's great. Very nice. Okay. So you hop up on the thing, and what do you say?
Hold. I'll put out my hand in front of me and go, "Hold, we are not foes."
Okay. So that was you. So I'm just going to move you up to here, Brent, just because you're sort of...
Yeah, okay. And then I won't attack, but I'll prepare. I'll go defensive just in case.
Sure. Sorry, that's what I'm just trying to look up right now because I could have sworn there is an action. Because I've been running so many different games, I could be confusing this, but
hold on. Let me grab my player's handbook too. I've never occurred to me in a game to go defensive before, so this is a first.
Total defense. I've got it here, Brent. Sorry, just give me a sec. Okay. Total defense is all your +2 to all your defenses.
Okay.
Until the start of your next turn. So okay, so that's great, and like that's so this guy had Cato. He actually, and Knight 2 will act on his turn as well. You say it loud enough, Halen, that you can see that Knight 2 is slowing his charge and is lowering his longsword, but then he notices that Cato is not slowing even in the least, and he yells out, "No! Cato, no!" And Cato continues his charge through, and you can hear him sort of growling almost like an animal as he's charging in. Ooh, not good though. Then he swings at you, and you're easily able to nimbly step out of the way, but his he swings too low. He's going to charge basically almost across the bridge as well, and Knight 2 will sort of follow up to about here, I'll say. So, Brent, it's only because of your you trying to anticipate his swing that you're able to step out of the way, and his mace takes a chunk of masonry out of this ancient dwarven bridge, and you feel that like it's could have like easily caved your head in had it solidly connected. Oh, excuse me. The second knight, right? Slows his gray horse to a trot, pulls back on it. It shakes its head, and water that's accumulated in its mane kind of flies everywhere. And from underneath the visored helm, the Knight 2 says, "Who are you?"
I am Halen Windspeaker. These are my friends. We were just travelers. Why do you attack us?
Why do your friends hide? Oberon and Ember, what are you guys doing at this point?
You shot an arrow at us.
Multiple arrows.
Yeah, we were ducking for cover.
Okay, so you guys are sort of shouting back and forth from the woods. Cato at this point has rode across. He's turned his horse around, and he's beginning to trot back. You see behind, there's a small retinue of I'm not going to put duplicates on here, but there's a small retinue of like basically like town guards who come trotting out, soaked to the bone. The knight on the in the black armor, the dark armor, says says again, step out, step into the light. We mean you no harm.
Sure.
Okay, I'll hop down from the pillar.
I'm going to cast light on my staff so that for those of us who don't have low light vision can actually see who we're talking to.
Okay. So that flashes to light, and as you do that, Cato continues trotting forward, and he calls out, "Demons!" And the other knight says, "That's enough!" He says, What is your destination, travelers?"
Oh, I can't remember. We are heading to the...
Eventually going to Restwell Keep. You are hoping to pass through Brindle on the way.
We're heading to Brindle.
I take it is it just you, the three of you?
Currently.
Are you expecting friends? And then you hear from behind you, "More enemies in the woods."
No, we have friends, but they are not with us right now.
Lies. They are lies. And the younger knight says, "Enough, Cato." You're traveling. You're bound for Brindle. What is
Correct.
your business?
Seeking work.
Oh, and rest and lodging.
You seek rest and lodging in Brindle?
Hmm.
It's a day, more than a day's journey.
Yes, it's not our final destination, but a waypoint. This road is heavily populated by goblins. Our last camp was ambushed, and we're looking for somewhere more secure to rest before continuing on our journey. Brindle,
More likely,
flying.
more victims for your allies. And the knight says, says nothing further. And he says, I am Sir Marius, sworn to the Lady Neston, Baroness of Talar, and heir to the kingdom of Rhestilovar. Please, if you keep the peace, you will find lodging in Talar.
Very good. And I don't know. There's probably some way that.
She sheathes his sword. He raises the visor of his helmet, and as you expected, he's actually pretty young. Like this guy's maybe in his early 20s, but he's quite fit. He's pretty big boned, and he sort of gestures down to you. Says, "If you will follow me, we will show you safely in town." You see from behind, Cato puts his helm up as well too, and this is a guy probably in his late 40s, early 50s, who is just, his face speaks of years and years and years of vicious combat. His eyes are, he's completely bald, at least from what you can tell. He even looks like he has no eyebrows. And he's got these watery, almost clear blue eyes that just stare at you. In particular, the biggest of you is Oberon. So Oberon, he sort of waits to try and catch eyes with you, and then just locks eye contact as if daring you to do something.
Oberon just kind of whispers to his allies, "That guy is creepy."
All right. So if you follow Sir Marius, then he will lead you inside. So 1 second here. He leads you into the town. So the town of Talar looks like this, guys. So I didn't turn this sideways, but basically you can ignore the compass in the top left there because that's not right.
That's not Taylor.
Why? What is it?
It's Blackacre.
I wondered if you would recognize. Yeah. This is Talar, and basically the north will be on the right side of the map. So the road runs east-west, and you can see that there is, just as you see here. Number one is a tavern and inn known as the Queen's Carriage. That's right.
Yeah.
So
fit in.
You don't fit in?
No, I said I hear it's a good inn run by a great group of adventurers.
In fact, it is. Retired adventurers run the Queen's Carriage.
Nice.
So you make your way into. I suppose we should let for the viewers at home. We played a 2.5-year campaign using the Iron Kingdoms role-playing game that was set in a town called Blackacre, where all the party members shared a tavern called the Queen's Carriage as part of their pay to be sheriffs of Blackacre. So, and this map was the map that I used for that campaign. So, I am recycling. I have, of course, renamed everything, but
It's a good map.
it's a great map. Yeah, I love it. And actually, it's from a 4th edition D&D product, and I've got a full map of that keep as well.
Oh, cool.
Which is great because it's like coming across a useful castle map is tricky sometimes in D&D. So, but in any event, yeah. So you, what do you? Yeah, you are escorted by Sir Marius. Sir Cato only escorts you as far as, basically like the watchtower. As you're making your way through town, Marius then finally sort of, I think he probably gets off he probably stays on his horse because he's got all his armor on too. He slows down so that he can actually speak with you guys. And once Sir Cato is out of ears, like out of earshot, he turns to you three and says, I must apologize for the exuberance of both our lookout and of Sir Cato. These lands were not have in recent years seemed less safe than in the past, but Sir Cato remembers the time of the first Red Horde.
It is good that your companions are vigilant. We have been set upon by goblins twice within the last week.
Twice in the last week, do you say? Did you notice any heraldry on them?
Yes, they bear the sign of the hand, the red hand.
The red.
It's a red hand, right? Okay.
It is. Yeah, that's right, Brent. The red hand, again. Merchants have traveled through and spread rumors, but we thought it was gossip. You survived it, though. Tell me, where did you encounter them?
Oh,
you're still sort of riding along.
The first town?
It was north of Drellin's Ferry. Was the first time near Skull Gorge.
Right. So I'll relay that it was north of Drellin's Ferry, and then
it was between
distance 1 day's travel in between where you met us.
Yeah, it was between Nymon Gap and Talar.
Right.
So he sort of turns his horse and looks down at you and he says, "That close." And that spread out as well. They range as far as the worm smoke. There may be a more serious threat lurking in the wilds than we appreciated. Did you lose any members of your party? You said there were only some of you.
It is an inexplicable curse that has set upon us, but has nothing to do with the goblins. At certain times, members of our party disappear only to reappear at random times later. It happens to all of us.
Really?
But there's a given pattern to it.
We are bound by this curse.
He looks at you, Ember, and sort of holds his look a little longer than is appropriate, and he says, "A curse." Really? He seems unsurprised.
It ain't me.
The Queen's... What was that?
Said it ain't me.
So says the tiefling. By this point, I think you guys have reached the Queen's carriage, and he says, "You will find safe and dry lodgings in here. I suspect you will not find much company. The roads have been slow the last few days, but you will find food and shelter for the evening. Again, my apologies, and please accept the protection of Our Lady Neston."
Thank you.
He nods his head and puts the visor back down, turns, and he begins trotting, back towards the watchtower at the west end of town. You guys make your way into the Queen's carriage, and it is there's two separate rooms in here. There's sort of a main room on the left side which is what would be a sort of roadside tavern. On the right side, there are some rooms and then a staircase that leads up to the second floor where there are more rooms. You walk in and you see a human man who sort of is struggling with trying to place a bottle back on the top of a high shelf near the bar. As soon as the door closes, or as soon as you open the door, I suppose, he kind of and spins around and sees you three. He says, "Whoa!" And he has to catch himself. He's a little startled by what you guys look like. And let me roll a reaction here. Let me see. See how this guy is going to react to you. Because I love me some random crap. Here we go. Who would like to roll 2d6 for me, please?
I can do that.
Okay.
Yep, did we come in on the bridge there at the top of the map?
At the top of the map. Yes, you did.
Yeah, like by Mill Pond. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So we've kind of gone all the way through the town to the Queen's carriage.
Okay. So I am applying the random reactions that you guys are rolling. It just so happens that everyone seems friendly to you guys. So it's not me being completely... Don't expect for every NPC to continually be glad to see you. This gentleman, however, turns, and after he catches himself, he turns and puts the bottle of whatever he was trying to replace on the bar. And he says, Welcome to the Queen's carriage. I'm Andre.
I am Ember.
Ember, welcome.
Hey,
please get out. So come, take a place by the fire. And there's of course, like there's really maybe one or two people in here in total, probably sitting at different tables. What would you like to warm yourselves? Please, ale.
Ale sounds great.
Do you have wine?
We do. It is from one of the vintners at Nymon Gap. A rich red to warm your bones.
Sounds perfect.
I shall. We have nothing warm at this point, but would you like something to eat as well?
Food sounds good.
That sounds great. Thank you.
Good. So he hustles off and grabs you your drinks. It doesn't seem like anyone else is really working at this place, but he grabs your drinks. Some of the locals seem to be quite comfortable enough to go and help themselves to what they want while he's busy doing things. They pay for it, of course, but it doesn't seem like it's a place that stands on ceremony all that much. Getting yourself before the fire and getting your cold weather clothes off and your wet traveling gear is really a very relaxing experience, to the point that I will let you guys each recover 1 healing surge.
Nice.
So
do I get a bonus since I haven't lost any?
You do not get a bonus. I'm gonna stack up. Excuse me.
What does it say?
Actually, James, did you blow any dailies since your last long rest? I don't think so, eh?
I did.
You blew daily already?
Hold on.
Yeah, I remember that last fight. I used my
I blew
big thing.
I did blow one.
You did blow one. So each of you guys can recover a daily as well.
Nice.
Awesome.
This is just because the guy's so friendly and it's such a nice contrast, and you avoided a combat as well. Oh, actually, I'm going to give you each an action point as well. That you handled that very well, Halen. That could have been a combat encounter, but I was hoping that it would not be.
Yeah, with
my natural charisma.
Oh, what was that, guys?
It's my natural charisma, really.
Yeah. Would you
Well,
say
he's never seen a fat elf before, so he was a little thrown off.
I love this is becoming canon now. Okay, so you guys sit down, and this guy is pretty chatty. I mean, he asks you, where you're from, and he asks if you don't want to talk to him, he'll obviously leave you alone because he's more pleased to have the company or the customer than he is to have just company. But if you do want to chat with him about anything, you can let me know and we can role play through it. His name, incidentally, I believe is Hagar. No, it was Andre. Andre, what am I talking about? So, anything you want to talk to Andre about, or are you more just interested in relaxing and kind of getting ready to hit the road for tomorrow?
Yeah, more of the latter. If he seems talkative, Halen will make like pleasant small talk, but not much beyond that. More interested into like drying out his clothes and.
Sure. So, Ember, you rolled quite well on your history check earlier.
Right.
So what? And I don't know if she's the type to like. Whether she's the type to sort of drop trivia that she knows in the course of conversation because she finds it interesting and thinks other people will find it interesting, even though they don't.
Yep.
Okay. So one of the things she talks about is you look around, there's a bunch of very crude sort of like woodcuts that are adorning the walls in here. And it seems to depict a lot of the history. So, or the history of Talar. And you know that Talar is sort of like the last seat of the Rhestilovar aristocracy. You remember how I'd mentioned before that the Rhestilovar was the human kingdom that collapsed here about 200 years ago?
Yeah.
Right.
So that kingdom actually had lasted for about 600 years. It was human. It was based out of to give you an indication here, guys. I'm going to quickly go to the Elsir Vale map. Okay, so if you see up here where I'm pinging now, like north of Tarleton, sort of directly north of Tarleton, north of the Witchwood, right south of the Black Fens, near like Reston. So Rest used to be the seat of Rhestilovar. It was a human kingdom that arose about 600 years ago and came to dominate the Eastern Vale. It had client kingdoms. It had it was a powerful presence. But then, and during their the height or the apex of the kingdom's rule, they kept the road safe, trade flourished, and the nobility thrived. However, about 200 years ago, tell me if you've heard this song before, a goblinoid horde arose, and it threatened the kingdom. And unfortunately, there was Lady Neston, who is the Baroness of Talar. That is one of the only remaining families of Rhestilovar, but they were loyalists. They were loyal to the crown, and in spite of the ecological and the savage, monstrous threat that came from this horde, they still allied themselves with the kings and queens of Rest. Unfortunately, not every royal or noble family felt the same, and there was a family known as the Villicus family. They were of a seat called Rivenroar, and Lord Simon Villicus, who was the last Lord of Rivenroar, felt that it was more advantageous to ally himself with the horde than with the kings and queens of Rhestilovar. Oh, did you guys lose audio, Brent and James?
No, I've got audio.
Okay.
James is going to try switching to his headset again. He's going back to his comfy chair.
Oh, okay.
So, I'll keep losing connection.
He says he's losing connection, but really he just doesn't want to sit next to me anymore.
Well, we're not picking up whatever what was the beer you were drinking?
Filthy Dirty.
Filthy Dirty. Now,
Good. I was hiding all the filthy dirty stuff, beneath the camera. So
that's why I think he maybe moved. The last Lord of Rivenroar was Simon Villicus, a rival of Lady Neston's ancestor. He allied with the Horde, and it's said he allied himself with darker powers as well too. The rumors were that the Rivenroar is a seat located near. You see where Witchcross is? I'm pinging here now, up in the Giant Shield Mountains.
Mm-hmm.
So just to the east of there, sort of equidistant between Witchcross and Red Rock. That's where Rivenroar is. So it's deep in the mountains, secretive, and they're said to be dabbling in necromancy as well. However, they had very rich gold mines, so they were able to buy off any problems that those rumors may have caused. What wasn't a rumor, though, is when Simon Villicus did not ally himself with the kings of Rest and Lady Neston's ancestors, and unfortunately, while they were able to barely drive off the Horde, it left them so broken that the next season, when the Horde resurged, it razed Rest to the ground. Once Rest fell, the rest of the kingdom sort of went that way as well. And since then, in the 200 years since the collapse of Rest, there have been no other, I should say, all the other aristocratic families of what once was the kingdom of Rhestilovar have effectively faded into obscurity. The only, I guess, remaining, the only two remaining really after the fall of Rest were the Nestons of Talar and the Villicus family of Rivenroar. Thankfully, before House Neston had to avenge their king by destroying Rivenroar, the Horde apparently turned on them. So the Rivenroar reaped what they sowed, which was treachery, and Rivenroar was razed to the ground by the same Horde that destroyed Rest, leaving only Lady Neston's ancestors as the last vestige of the hold on, how you pronounce it? Rhestilovar aristocracy, and really one of the only remaining keeps from the kingdom of Rhestilovar. So all of this spills out of Ember's enthusiastic or ramblings And you can see that, James, in the woodcuts that you're seeing there. These woodcuts are obviously quite old, but they depict many of those famous scenes. They depict the betrayal of Simon Villicus. They depict the last king of Rest standing against the goblin horde, and they depict the sacking of Rest, like all sort of high action scenes. Apart from that, is there anything else you guys wish to do in Talar?
No, at least Talon doesn't have much to do. If he's still working on the wolf skins, then maybe he'll spend a bit of time doing that before going to bed.
I think that because I'm not sure that. Sorry, Brian. I'm just thinking through this now, because it's been raining pretty much the entire time. Like, you do need to like skin them, and then I think there's some sort of you need to either treat them with some kind of salt or some shit, or you need to smoke them.
Yeah, maybe I don't have the. Maybe that was ill.
Yeah, so I don't. Well, hey Brent, you know what you could have got though? Teeth. I don't know if you want any.
Maybe he makes into a necklace or whatever, wolf tooth necklace.
Sure. You're a you do come from a mountain clan as well, so there could be. I'm not sure if with teeth it's the correct thing, like the tooth equivalent of a scrimshander. You could be a little detailed carver.
Yeah, I could see the elves being really good at wood carving and stuff like that, and sort of even to pass down a sort of history and tales through carving. Because it's not like they would, be able to transport large volumes of texts or papers if they're nomadic.
No, and any stuff that you're keeping in the mountains too, that would be wood or whatever else, would probably be something you would want to burn, because there would be more scarcity with the wood in the the alpine regions. So so that's cool. Also, I just wanted to use the word scrimshander, so it's like my any excuse I can to use the word Kartoffelsalat in German, because it's my favorite German word. And it means potato salad. So, anything else you guys want to do in Talar? I take it not. If not, then we will have your evening pass. You'll get up the next day. You'll head out, and it is still raining again. You will have one more river to cross, or one more crossing of, I think, the same river actually. And one more day of camping out in the woods before you reach Brindle. But then you'll finally reach Brindle, and another leg of your journey will be done. So, let us just sort of the trip. Let me see here. Through from Talar down to Brindle is actually a much more pleasant journey than it has been from Talar. It's mostly downhill or otherwise just fairly flat. So there's not a lot of up and downs and whatever else. So while it is still kind of misting down the entire fucking day and overcast, at least you're not your legs aren't on fire from going up and down hills all day. The first evening of camping, you pass a group of merchants who are bound for Drellin's Ferry. Nothing really eventful happens, but you guys at least don't have to share the road, or you don't have to spend the evening alone on the road, so it's a little safer.
Would they happen? I know we were looking for materials to scribe our rituals. Would these merchants have anything?
Brandon, it wasn't that. It was finding the time to be able to.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yeah, I think that like you each would have room in your ritual books to scribe these new things down. It's just that you're gonna have to basically spend a day for each of these things.
Okay.
Right, because it's just.
Oh, out of interest, would any of the merchants be interested in a nice wolf tooth necklace?
Given your, well, here, give me a diplomacy check, and I will give you +2 in it because I imagine it is a nice carving. So let's just see whether you made any friends.
Do you carve stuff while we're traveling and then try and sell it to people?
Maybe. I only carve minotaur horns when they're sleeping, though, so you're good. Wow! Look at that roll.
Oh boy! Oh boy! Okay. All right, that's interesting.
I appreciate elven craftsmanship.
So we'll pick up the scene in the camp, right? And I'm picturing it. It's this part of the trip is there's still like, you know, wide open plains with the odd tree in it, but it's not the heavily wooded area that you pass through in the, you know, in the foothills of the Wormsmoke Mountains, or when you're traveling through the foothills near Nymon Gap, or the hills near Nymon Gap. But so you're the place where you're staying is a bit of a like a fenced caravansary kind of area. There's a single, like, low triangular lodging that hosts, like, has some it's like a general store kind of thing, and then there are some people in there who are like wainwrights and blacksmiths, like to deal with like horses who've lost their horseshoes and things like that. And you've been making your way around trying to sell to anyone here, Halen, and you get to one last group. And tell me about what do you think your approach is here? How do you think, what is his sales pitch here? Is he sort of like, hi, and then like hold this out, or does he try and chit chat first and then?
Probably more straight to the point. Maybe sort of very much a hi, and I have a necklace to sell, a wolf tooth necklace with elvish carvings, with the carvings of my tribe.
Okay. So you do once or twice. There's people who are just like, no, and one person looks at it, and then there's you kind of haggle back and forth, but like it would be, you know, incredibly undervaluing your time. So you're like, no, I'm not selling it for that amount. And then you get down and to this next group, and there is it's a group of 2 dwarven merchants and a bunch of, and they're sort of like assorted races of caravan guards, and you do, you know, does anyone want to buy a necklace kind of thing? And then one of the dwarves kind of looks up at you and then does a double take, and he says, hey, friend, bring that over here.
All right.
And he says, let me get a good look at that in the firelight. And he's sitting around a kind of a campfire, and the other dwarf turns to him and says something in dwarvish to the, like, it's a dwarf faith happen. And he sort of, you know, the one that you're speaking to raises his hand and sort of, you know, waves the other guy back. And you can see that there are big blocky gold rings on his hand, which are a sign of status amongst dwarven merchants. And he then, you know, takes your necklace, and he says, it's interesting work. Yeah. Is this from the one of the Witchwood tribes, or something from the other side of the Wormsmokes?
And because he's interested in my work, I'll tell him a bit about my, like, the background of my tribe. You know, sort of like where we're from.
So you are, yeah, you are, Brett. You're on the from the west side of the Worm Smokes. And he says, "That's. I thought I might have recognized this work. Did you live in Outlook or Overlook?"
I did, right? Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll be. Yeah, perfectly. Yeah. How did it go?
I thought I recognized you. You worked. And then you can, as he's sort of standing up, your eyes sort of flick down, and you realize that he has the sigil of the Elsir Consortium on him. And he sort of stands up. So you're sitting down. He's about, because he's a dwarf, he's about, your height. He says, "That's right. You were then," he says something in Dwarvish that you don't understand, but you imagine is not a compliment.
And I get and two, I think that was the session Halen was in the mists or disappeared for too.
No, he's not referring to that. Remember that you guys worked for when you guys were working for the Elsir Consortium. That's when you went to the mountains with those other ones and those. Yeah, he says you were the Partok that escorted Harbrek. Weren't you? And he shoves you, and you're knocked. Actually, Brent, I'll let you decide how you react. Do you think he's caught you so unawares that he knocks you down, or are you able to sort of scramble back with the momentum of his push?
Yeah, I think given his monk training and dexterity, he wouldn't be so rude as to interfere with the path of the monks, the dwarves.
Okay, so you shove him, and you sort of tumble back and take a bit of a monk type stance. He says, "Yeah, the elven dancer. I know who you are." He looks over and he says, "Where's the albino cow?" And the other. So Oberon and Ember, I think that at this point you're sort of hearing this someone shouting from somewhere in the caravansary. And you're looking around, and you can see that there is a very, very angry dwarf who is shouting at Halen, and his group seems to be sort of getting up to deal with something. Now, you guys don't know you don't know a lot of dwarves, but if you do know something about dwarves, they take insults to family really fucking seriously. So this guy has said that he is the cousin of Harbrek. And Harbrek is one of the two merchants that you guys unfortunately killed. Or not, you didn't kill them, but they died under your watch. What do you do?
We do not wish a quarrel.
I would think not. You will find us armed and ready, not for bushwhackers like you. Gruldor.
I don't know if Oberon put up with this shit. How many of them are there compared to us?
There are about 4 dwarves, and then there are probably about 10 men-at-arms or so. Like, there's a lot of mercenaries that are there.
Leave it be. Let's go.
Well, where do you think Oberon and Ember are right now in relation to this? There is a fenced-in area, but you guys aren't necessarily all forced to be together. Like, you guys could set up your camp.
I don't know. I would have been just relaxing or whatever. I would definitely not be anywhere near Halen trying to sell his stupid necklace.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So you're near your campsite, and you're sort of seeing this go on from a distance. Ember, what are you doing right now?
Well, I'm with Oberon.
Okay, so you're just going to let this play out and then see what happens?
I mean, if he's yelling loud enough that we can hear, I may come over, but...
We need to protect Halen from this, whatever he's got himself into.
Okay, so are you, like, getting up and going over there?
Yes.
Okay, so you're getting up and going over. What are you doing right now, Bran? Or Halen?
Sort of trying to extract myself from the situation.
Okay, so how are you planning on doing that? That's your intent, but what are you actually doing?
Okay, trying to move, I guess, have the conversation, but slowly move towards or position myself that I can easily get to the exit or...
Okay. Why don't you give me a... tell me what you're going to say first and what you're doing, and then we'll get you to make a diplomacy check again. We'll see how that goes. You may get a bonus depending on your role playing.
Okay. We're all but travelers on this road. I didn't come here seeking I do not seek a quarrel.
No, you seek no quarrel. You simply flee the justice of the Deep Delver clan. You go Grildor. Again, you don't speak Dwarven, but you can't imagine that a Gruldor is good.
We are deeply saddened by, we are sorrowful for the loss of your kinsmen.
Give me a diplomacy check, Brent. I'll give you a +2 to that. That was a good role plan.
Oh.
Heck yeah! All right, so that offsets your one of his someone else who's another dwarf who looks similar to him, also wearing rings on his fingers, grabs him by the shoulder or puts his hand on his shoulder and says, "Dalgal, leave it, let it be." And he turns and he says, "You would leave this, Gruldor?" And he says, "Just sit. You drank enough. Sit. Justice will sort itself out. Leave it to Moradin." Do you say anything, Brent, or are you just sort of waiting for this to play itself out?
Sort of play itself out. I'll just nod, and I don't want to instigate or get the guy pissed off more by talking.
Absolutely. Okay, so then what? Yeah, so this guy sort of manages to settle Dalgal down, and then he sort of turns and stomps back and sits himself back down in a huff. You look over and you realize that he has thrown your carved wooden or carved necklace to the ground, but I'm going to guess that you're just going to let it stay there rather than try and retrieve it.
How close is it to me to retrieve?
No, it's like at his, like, you picture that when you guys were talking, you were in sort of like the seats that are around his campfire. He got up to talk to you, shoved you, and dropped it at his feet. So it's probably right around his campfire at this point.
Yeah, I guess the discretion would lead me to. I'm somewhat disappointed, but I don't want to, start an armed conflict with a band of mercenaries. So I will leave it be.
Okay. So Ember, you're sort of walking your way over when you realize that Halen is on his way back. The voices have lowered at this point, and Halen turns and is making his way back. Halen, what do you say to Ember?
We best avoid that camp until we depart. It's not what I've done, it's who I encountered.
Okay, who did you encounter?
I'll sort of give you a brief rehash of the clans and sort of like a very brief summary of what just transpired.
So basically, Ember, as soon as you find out that these guys are members of the Elsir Consortium, you're able to sort of put together like, oh shit. You happen to run into one of the, remember the Elsir Consortium is largely made up of dwarves as well. So there's another dwarven merchant family that supplied at least one of the men who died under your watch in the mountains to the west of the West Deep. So it makes sense, and you're just hoping that they don't bring more. Like you guys, remember, are trying to get back in the good graces of the Elsir Consortium at this point, so you can go back to Overlook and actually work there again.
So I guess burning their caravan to the ground would not be a good idea.
Probably not a good. Well, I mean, if they all died, then no, there's no one left to get word back. But I mean, that's a lot of dead people.
Right, and to be safe, we'd probably have to kill everyone at the camp, not just the consortium members.
If we were down in the Minotaur, I'd say let's do it. The impotence.
Did you say the impotence or the impudence?
Impudence.
Let's see, the impotence of it. Not inaccurate, I guess, but
Well, I guess if we did slaughter, most people would probably be impotent after, and horrified after the slaughter of
yeah.
caravan, as opposed to like being horny.
Okay.
And we'll
so
just leave it.
what? Yeah. So other than that, nothing. The rest of the night is somewhat
Well, wait. When you get back to the campsite, Oberon says to Halen, he says, "How much did he pay you for your little necklace?"
It didn't work out.
Well, I heard what was going on, so he just smiled at you.
So you guys keep your distance from the Elsir consortium camp for the remainder of the evening, and you're up early and depart, I guess, before they do. Fortunately, they are headed towards, as I said, towards Drellin's Ferry. You guys are headed towards Brindle. And late the next day, one sec here, you'll be arriving. And Jeff, as the guide, let's make a arrival check. So let's see here. There's no modifiers to the roll, so just give me a D8 roll, Jeff, please.
Oh, just a D8.
Yeah.
Oh, come on. 20, don't mess with me.
Ooh, no. That is not good.
Can't even see what it says.
Bad guide.
Number 1 is what you rolled.
Oh, wow.
You are weary to your bones. The journey has taken a heavy toll on the spirits of the company. The paths they have followed have shown them little that is good and have left them feeling tired and without hope. The memories of any good fortune they may have experienced along the way now seem distant and intangible. So, what I would like you guys to do is, would you kindly make a wisdom check, please?
Can we sell Jeff and replace him with a GPS?
You cannot.
Would you say make a will
Yeah, just make a wisdom ability check, please.
or wisdom?
I might have said will. Sorry.
No, you did say wisdom.
Yeah.
Wisdom.
Come on.
Whoa, nice. Very nice. That is less nice. Let's see.
Oh, 20 just hates me.
Yeah, shoot. Okay, so you arrive. I think it's maybe because you're empathic, you're picking up on the emotions of Halen and Ember and the lack of your brother being here as a stabilizing force. Like you're more so than normal twins or whatever. I imagine that you, because of your empathic abilities, you sort of like a comforting white noise, right? Like you always are used to your brother being there. And because he's not here, you're feeling quite uncentered.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So I think that's probably why this is affecting you as badly as it is. But you do have one level of fatigue now. So what that means is you have -2 to your ability checks until you complete a full, short rest. But fortunately, you guys are arriving here. Boom. Gentlemen, welcome to Brindle.
Nice.
So Brindle isn't quite as big as what Overlook is, but it is no small slouch of a city. It does have walls, not nearly as impressive as the walls around Overlook, of course, but Overlook was built by dwarves back in the Age of Chains, so it certainly is much more impressive. But I'm sorry, it certainly is a much more impressive place. But this still has, you know, a bit of an interesting vibe to it. There are 2 bridges that cross the Elsir River there, leading them into town. And you guys remember that your friend back in Overlook, the tavern owner, he told you to look up a friend of his here. And his name, hold on. Actually, I should have opened, sorry guys, Bush League DM here. I should have opened up my NPC list here. But there was the owner of the Broken Banner that he told you to go and see. And his name is... Kyle Rester. Oh, no, Walter. Walter is the owner of the Broken Banner. Kyle was the guy who was your friend.
Sorry, who are we looking at?
You're looking up Walter. Walter is the owner of the Broken Banner. And you were told to tell him that Kyle sent you. Kyle was the owner of the Pig and Bucket, where you guys sort of, the place you haunted in Overlook. Oh, yeah, and you guys got my NPC list, right?
Oh, nice.
That I sent?
NPC list. How did you send it?
I would have sent it 2 weeks ago, or 13 days ago, because it would have been Saturday 2 weeks ago. Tomorrow is the 2nd, so it would have been, actually, I don't know how to, would have been the 18th, maybe? 19th? So I think I spent that Saturday working on it.
Just zoom in so I can actually read. Kevin.
Anyway, so Walter is who he told you to look up. Now, as you guys, let's see here. Then the Broken Banner is. Shoot! I forgot to open up the thing I need.
Oh, there it is. Found it.
Awesome. Oop, wrong thing. Is there anything that, apart from getting a, you know, this is the end of your journey, so you once you get a full night's sleep, you'll be able to recharge all of your abilities and gain all your healing surges back. Where is it here? Ah, I found it. Sorry, guys. I was trying to find... over here. Okay. As you're making your way through town, guys, and I think you arrived there about mid-afternoon. Like it's about a day and a half journey between Talar and Brindle. So as you're making your way around Brindle, where are you? So I'm trying to find the guide to the map. There we go. Sorry. Okay, so the Broken Banner is located around where 12 is, guys, on the map. Uh, 12 is a place called the Laughing Manticore, which is a brewery and tavern. But right here is the Broken Banner, where I'm pinging right next to it. So, and actually across the street there is the Brindle Academy. It is a 2-story building that may be the most prestigious place of learning in the entire Eastern Vale. So it's probably some students who are making their way through the crowd there. But before you get there, though, you do pass. There is a really interesting looking building right here. So right here, this is where the road kind of goes up. There's a little bit of a stairway that kind of leads up from the 5 is the Brindle Market. So you can picture as you guys arrive, 5 is just full of, it's a wide open marketplace that is full of stalls and, merchants and people buying things. And it's really quite busy. You're just like the last thing, I guess, given the mood that you arrive in, the last thing you want to deal with is more crowds. So you have to sort of trying to avoid as best you can the crush of people located in the market. You make your way to the far side here, which is a little higher up. And as you make your way to the top, 7 is has a sign outside that says "Red Magic and Sundries," and is one of the few stone structures you can see made out of a bit of like a sandy colored finely worked stone, and there are windows in it where there are items like weird curios and stuff like that that are located or set up inside. The building itself is 2 stories and quite thin, and the window is also cluttered. If you could sort of picture like an antique shop, like that sort of has not a single theme in the window. There's weird like an odd musical instrument, and then there's a strange candle holder, and there's a bizarre kind of like broken funerary mask in the window as well. Halen and Oberon, would you kindly give me a perception check, please? Each of you.
Yeah, for sure.
Does that work? No. I'll roll 20. You're my friend.
Nice.
The heck? Just gives me all these like no smoking signs when I hover over my character sheet.
It gives you no smoking signs?
Yeah, like the little red circle with the red.
It's weird.
Like,
did your computer get hacked by Nicorette or what?
No, it's something to do with roll 20. It's just not happy.
I don't know. I don't know what to tell you.
Oh.
Well, Halen did roll. So, Halen, you noticed this. Would you kindly, Halen, give me another D20 roll, just a D20, please.
Okay.
Interesting. Ooh, okay. And then would you kindly...
Oh. No. Why would I perception?
Sorry, Brian, I'm just trying to find a table here. Okay, here we go. Give me another...
for 18s right now.
Give me another D20 roll, please, Brent.
If I roll an 18, it'll be the 4th time in a row. Oh.
Yeah, really shouldn't have said it out loud. Okay, now, Brent, would you kindly give me a D6 and a D10? Okay. Interesting. Okay, so you're walking by Halen, and you sort of look in the window because there is really unusual stuff in there too, and you see that one of the things on display is it's a cylinder about maybe about a foot long, that has a stopper on top that looks a little aged and a little worn for wear. But as you walk past, you see that the writing on the casing is in Old Tongue. Now, just as a reminder, Old Tongue is a forgotten language that only your tribe, for the best of your knowledge, it was a secret language that only your tribe spoke. And one of the things that you and Oberon learned when you guys first met is that you both spoke, your respective orders both spoke Old Tongue.
Interesting. I'll tap Oberon on the shoulder and point that out and check this out. And then it's an Old Tongue, and then I'll go to the shop.
Okay, so he taps on your shoulder, Oberon, and you look over, and sure enough, like there's this scroll, which certainly was not made by Minotaurs, at least not by the Bloodhoof tribe. But there it is. There's the markings of your order on this scroll casing.
This is in the marketplace?
It's one of the, yeah, it's mark number 7. You stop and you sort of look up and you see that there's a sign hanging from the, from the little iron strut that reads Red Magic and Sundries.
Let's go in.
Yeah, that's where I'm heading.
So you guys, you head inside, and as you walk in, there is a fairly exotic-looking woman in her probably late 30s, dark hair, copper kind of skin, almost amber colored eyes, dressed in long robes and sort of rearranging things. And she turns and looks at you and then smiles and says, "Welcome to Red Sand and Sundries. May I assist you in finding anything?" And then you hear sort of a rustling from behind from elsewhere in the store, and you hear a man's voice say, I'm coming. Alandri, I have this. I have this. And this older gentleman who's probably in his 60s, dressed in long robes, he has the sort of like certain markings and gewgaws around him that makes you think that he likely has some kind of arcane training. He walks out and says, Alandri, I have, and his, he still has scraps of hair that are hanging down from his head, but it's mostly bald, and thinning, but he has his hair pulled back in a ponytail that falls behind him. He has a weird, like, some kind of, like, not quite staff, but not like a rod, I suppose, in his hand. And he says, "Oh, welcome. Welcome to Red Sand. I'm Immerstal, the Red." And he sort of gestures at his robe, and it's, of course, like all red. And he says, What were you looking for? Something catch your eye? Something
the writing scroll case. And I'll go towards the window and...
Okay. Remind me, Brent, what do you wear in terms of markings from your order? Like anything that would have your mark? Do you have like your key focus? What is that sort of? Where's that hanging, and what does it look like?
I was thinking that key focus would be a medallion, so right now it'd be inside my shirt, maybe.
Okay.
As opposed to exposed.
Okay. Do you have anything that would include the markings of your order?
I don't know. I was debating with, you know how in Dragon Age, all like the wild elves have like sort of like facial markings.
Yep.
I was sort of debating, but I hadn't concluded whether it'd be cool to have like some of those sort of like tattoos, but sort of like symbolized of the tribe and order.
If you don't want to have it on your face, you could have it on other parts of your body.
Yeah. Or maybe coincidentally too that we could, I could do that, or I could even say that today his key focus is just on the outside of his shirt instead of the inside.
Yeah, really, of any day that you were just like, fuck it, I just want to get, like this may be the day. And so
feeling like shit. Maybe it was even something I was, because you know how you're saying we're all depressed and stuff. Instead of maybe tucking it in as he was walking, maybe he was sort of like, holding on to it, sort of as I don't know, nostalgia, reassurance, or
sure. Oberon, what markings of your order do you have that would be visible to the casual observer?
Well, I'm guessing he probably has a tattoo, but I'm a little more bundled up than I would normally be. So,
okay.
I guess unless it's on his head, then.
Oh yeah, your tattoo, of course. Yeah, I don't know. What do you think? Do you think it would have been like? Is it something that would be visible? Or?
Yeah. When Kevin was thinking about me carving and stuff, and I know you and Dave are thinking about tattoos. What if minotaurs had their horns carved instead of body tattoos or symbols on their horns?
Could be in addition to. Dave's pretty committed to the tattoos.
Right. I mean, it may be on my back. Maybe the top of it is visible.
Okay, so I think there's enough for the key focus. So the Immerstal sees sort of the thing around your neck, and he says, "What a curious object!" And he sort of gestures with his really long finger, at your you realize at your key focus. He says, did you find that?"
It is. It has been in my tribe for a long time.
Your tribe? What tribe do you range from? Or do you hail from?
A wind speaker.
The Wind Speakers. I am not familiar with your tribe. How interesting. And he sort of leaves the question hanging. You wish to see the scroll in the window, then? Yes.
Yes.
Interesting. And he says he picks up the scroll, and he's watching sort of your reactions as he picks it up out of the little cradle it's in to display it. And what expressions do Oberon and Halen have on their face at this point?
It depends on what the scroll case says. I pick it up like I'm not like as a curiosity with random stuff, but as I was say picking up like a magazine or a book, like something where I know how to read it.
So, what is on the scroll casing is it's written in Old Tongue, and it says you recognize the lettering. I guess you recognize the language as well too. It says that Will is the breaker of darkness, and each of you in your own order has a phrase that is effectively like a paraphrasing of that. It's not the specifically same mantra, but Will is the breaker of darkness is something that each of you has as part of your lexicon of chants or mantras or whatever that you do. So for instance, Jeff, yours could be that, my mind crushes the shadow, and Brent, yours might be my wit will my wit escapes the umbral dance. So it's not quite up on all fours, but it definitely is the sentiment of it is the same.
Can I open the case?
There is a lot of magic shit in this place, Ember. Well, he's just sort of holding it and watching your reactions. So what are your reactions, guys? What is Oberon, having seen this language on there, seen the phrasing, what expressions do you guys have on your face?
Was I able to read it over Halen's shoulder or something?
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
I'll say to Oberon, well, that's familiar.
Go, guys.
And
I need an answer. Can I get guys? Brent, stop talking. Brent, stop talking. Can I get an answer to my question? I want to know what the expression is on your face.
Like, sort of like I'm being like, that's like curious, I guess.
Okay. And Oberon, what is the expression on your face?
Yeah, I would say like anxious.
Okay. So he Immerstal is, so the reason I want to know is because that will dictate what how Immerstal is reacting to you, Bren. So he's watching you and he says, "It's curious, is it not?"
It is. I would like to. Would it be? We'd much like to see the scroll.
You can read this then. You recognize these languages. Or you recognize these words, I suppose he would say.
Yes, we can read it.
It is an old tongue spoken in my tribe.
Your wind speaker tribe speaks this tongue.
Do you speak this tongue?
I can. And you hear from that younger woman, Alondri. Immerstal speaks many languages. He is very learned. And Immerstal says, "Thank you, my dear," without taking his eyes off of you guys. And he holds it up. He says, "Truly a unique piece, would you not agree? Rare as well."
I suppose I did not know humans spoke this tongue.
Not all, only some. And you hear Alondri said again, "Only the learned." And
What is your
says,
price for this?
"Thank you, my dear." Well, a rare piece, as you have said.
As you have said.
Ah, the piece such as this, quite valuable.
I suppose it is that container. I guess it depends what is inside.
Inside there is a scroll, and he sort of rubs his feet on, or his fingers on the cap of the scroll. So Ember's creeped out right now. What would you pay?
May we see the scroll?
Well, the scroll is for the purchaser alone. But if you purchase, you will confirm the scroll is within before leaving the store. I am an honest dealer. And you hear Alondri say, "A very honest dealer." And Immerstal says, "Thank you, my dear."
Oberon says,
James, since Ember's using it already, there is a distinct aura of magic, very weird magic coming from this scroll casing. If you want to give me an Arcana check, James, I can see if you can maybe get some more insight on it.
All right, hold on.
But Immerstal is sort of watching you, and he's really interested in seeing what your reactions are at this point. You guys can feel free to make. I'll remind you that unless you tell me you're making an insight check, I'm just going on your passive insights to pick up stuff.
right.
I'll kind of shrug, and Halen kind of shrugs and looks at Oberon. He's like, "I guess it depends on how much you want for this." And this guy's sort of a little bit creepy, so maybe I'll finally pay attention to him.
Okay.
Well, Oberon says, we're just poor travelers. We're not wealthy by any means.
Okay, so Ember, what you detect, so the aura that you're seeing around this scroll, the reason it sort of is, it's weird, but it's vaguely familiar. There was one time, maybe when you guys were first together, you looked through your using your magically enhanced senses, at Halen's key focus, because you thought it was some kind of magical medallion or something like that. And it had a very similar aura to it.
Huh. Well, how about Halen has a proposal for the...
Well, remember, Halen doesn't know that. Ember knows this, and she said nothing to you guys so far.
Right. No, I'm not using that to consideration, because I do know that the shopkeeper, though, is interested in my amulet.
Yeah.
So I'm going to see if I can gauge his reaction and say, let us examine your scroll and you can examine our amulet, my amulet.
Okay. Give me a, what are you trying to do? So that sounds to me like a diplomacy check, but are you also trying to gauge his reaction with insight?
Yeah, he seems a bit off for a human, like, compared to most of the other ones I met. But, and it's just a very, straightforward sort of offer. I don't know if Halen's sort of not really interested in buying the scroll, but he's curious about what's in it. And I've noticed that the shopkeeper is also curious about the medallion. So to Halen, it sounds like an equitable trade. I look at your thing, you look at my thing, but not in that.
I'll show you
that would cost you something different. Okay, so why don't you give me an insight check first. Let's see if you're getting a correct read on this guy. 12. Okay. You know what? So he's weird for sure, but I mean, like, mages are weird. So that's not necessarily unusual. This guy genuinely seems to be not trying to get a rise out of you, but you think that he's genuinely fascinated by what your reaction to this is. Like, what he's doing is... I'm trying to think of what an analogy would be for this, but it would be like I don't know. What he's trying to do is put an object that you desire in front of him, and he's trying to gauge what your reaction is. To him, he's just like, why the hell does this elf want this old tongue thing? Why does he have a thing around his neck with it, and why does his tribe speak this language? So it could just be curiosity on his sake, you know. Yeah.
Well, and I'll propose that I'm kind of interested to see what the scroll says. But I'm not sure we're in a position to purchase anything, but I am curious. If you let us examine your scroll, you can examine my amulet.
Oh, that. Why don't you make let's go ahead, Brent, make a diplomacy check. Let's see how it goes over. I don't know, so we'll just let the dice dictate how it's going to play out. Okay. He says, the scroll is for purchasers only, but I suppose we could have some time. I have a study upstairs. You, and he points at you, Halen, and me. Only the two of us. Alondri, I trust you will watch our guests. And Alondri says, I will watch our guests. And he says, Emerstall says, thank you, my dear.
Okay, I'll exchange glances with Ember and Oberon to see if they, look like they're objecting or anything. And
Oberon shrugs and, like, whatever. Find out what he wants for it.
Yeah.
Okay. So you, what he does, he leads upstairs, Brent, and he does have a study. It's like there is clutter everywhere in this place. So getting yourself up there, you can picture like winding your way down a hallway where there's a giant stack of books in one place and then another giant stack of books. And there's a weird, a pedestal with an unusual looking kind of like fishman type statue. And he says, careful, careful, as you pass each one of the things. And it leads you into his study. And his study is equally full of clutter and whatnot, but there is a desk around which there is a small cleared space, and there's a bunch of notes and whatnot around. And he gestures, without kind of looking at you, at a chair that seems to be sitting one of the free places. You do have to knock some papers off there. He says, there, and he turns to you and says, your amulet?
Okay, I'll take it off my neck and...
Okay, so you hand it to him, and he then places it on the clear space on the desk. He pops the scroll open, reaches inside, and pulls out this inside the scroll casing, and pulls out a scroll. The scroll itself looks like it is written on kind of like a vellum paper. It's got that like transparent and almost like oily kind of quality to it. But it is still quite, you would think that given the sort of battering that the outside has, it would be quite delicate. But would you so you take this thing, Brent, and you sort of unroll this thing, and it's a lot more secure, or a lot more sturdy than what you would have thought. The vellum feels quite, you can sort of like rub your thumb on it, and even though it looks quite thin and delicate, it actually rolls out, as if it was freshly pressed, the day before. As you open it, there is something on the inside that is written in Old Tongue as well. Would you kindly give me an? Are you trained in Arcana, Brent?
I am not.
So. You are not. Okay. Then just give me an Arcana check. I just want to see if you get the difficulty is going to be higher than it would have been otherwise. Let's just see if you can get a sense of what. Fuck yeah, not 20.
Natural 20. I had to make it.
God damn.
I figured I was fucked, but here you go.
Okay, so Brent, what this is, you've heard about these kind of things from your order. Your order lost the ability to craft these things, but effectively what they are is it's like an offensive mantra. So it's something that if you speak this chant, there has been psychic power bound in these pages. And if you speak this, like effectively, like you learn, you don't necessarily have to carry this thing around and read it, but if you memorize the chant that was written in Old Tongue here, if you like hold this thing up and say it, it will release the chant trapped in there. There will also be a brief moment of connection between yourself and whoever's will bound this thing to the vellum.
So it's like I know, like it's sort of like it's a something where it briefly then it leaves it, or I know then
what this is, Brent, is effectively imagine it as weaponized prayer.
Cool. So if I read and memorize the prayer, I can recite it to fortify myself, or
if you recite it and then you hold that, it will be its offensive prayer.
Okay.
So it's it's weaponized. So a weapon is not used necessarily for defense. Otherwise, it would be protective.
Right.
I will
not try it out now because I don't want to.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's what this thing appears to be. Immerstal seems really occupied with your what do you call it? Your thing, your key focus. And he asks you a bunch of questions about your tribe, about your, who crafted this thing, what, like a bunch of seemingly, not obtuse, but like he's grilling you effectively about your people at this point.
Okay. And I'll questions with him about where he got the scroll and case from.
Sure. It was purchased from a traveler from the east.
Elvish or human, or?
As I recall, it was a human traveler. I did not inquire as to where he found it. From the other items that he sold, though, I suspect A charitable descriptor would be an archaeologist. Less charitable, a tomb robber. Give me a sec, guys. I'll be right back. I just got to go to the washroom. Ember and Oberon, describe what you want, or decide what you guys want to be doing while you're downstairs.
What do you went upstairs or something like that?
Yeah, in the room. So I got to look at the scroll. He got to, in exchange for looking at my amulet. So he's going through over my amulet, and I discovered that the scroll is a prayer, some form of offensive prayer, and if I read the prayer, it has some kind of offensive ability. I don't understand from like a game term whether it's like a one-shot like scroll use ability, consumable, or whether it's I know a prayer, and if I speak a prayer, then I enhance my offensive nature. What did you get from that, Jeff?
Well, like you said, I don't know game-wise, but yeah, the same thing you just said. It's some kind of a prayer spell scroll, but
I'll ask him what he wants for it, but we don't have like shit tons of money, so.
No, that's the thing, right? Like we can only offer him so much.
Well, let's first do what Oberon and what do you call it? Oberon and Ember are doing downstairs while Halen's upstairs.
Hey, I've got a question just pertaining to the prayer. Does Halen have the feel that it's something that if he speaks, whenever he speaks it, he'll be weaponized, or is it sort of like a one-shot consumable?
No, it's a one-shot consumable. It's something that someone at some point has bound a. Like I said, like this is something that your order at like in time immemorial used to be able to do, but they lost in the course of the aeons. They lost the ability to do this.
Okay.
So this could very well be something from your order. Though the phrasing on the casing is a little is off. So Ember and Oberon, while you guys are Halen is upstairs with Immerstall, and they're probably up there for at least like 40 minutes or so.
Oh shoot!
Yeah, like you got quite a bit of time, and as you're doing that, Alondri is still, her amber eyes are and that like unusual toothy smile she has is just watching you guys around, and she keeps asking every now and then, "Is there certain there's nothing I can show you?"
No, like Oberon is there for maybe a minute or two. I'm imagining that this shop is just packed with stuff.
Yeah.
He is literally a bull in a china shop. He's trying to walk around and look at stuff, but he can't move without bumping into things. So after about 2 minutes of like her nervously watching him try to maneuver around the shop, he says, "I'll just be waiting outside."
She's actually not nervous at all. Like you'll knock something, and then she says, "No harm done," and you'll sort of bump back into something else, and then she says, "No harm done."
I think I'll be waiting outside.
Okay,
Yeah,
just as you wish. And then she turns to you, Ember. What are you doing?
I'm looking at whatever sort of
I'm looking
garb they have here.
at whatever sort of robes or garb they have here.
Okay. So I'm getting weird like feedback from you, James, where I'm hearing it once quiet and then I'm hearing it again at a normal volume.
He's put his headset on, so I think you're hearing it the same way I am. Once through his headset, then once through my speaker.
Awesome. Okay, so you're looking for any robes, eh? Give me a sec here. There is, I mean, there are some robes in here. Yes. And Sorry, guys. I'm just taking on. Yeah, there is a set of robes in here. You're clearly, you mean like you're looking for something that is enchanted, right, James?
Not necessarily.
Okay. So what is it you're looking for? Like, is there something specific in a specific style? Like, I don't necessarily want to decide for you. I'm happy to describe a couple robes for you if you like, but if there's something that you were hoping for or you were looking for, like, I'm happy to go with what you've got in mind. Not magical, I mean just what it looks like.
Maybe something that might blend into the
Brent,
the wilderness a bit.
Brent, can you mute your mic while James is talking, just for while we're having this conversation, just because we're getting weird feedback?
Yeah.
Thanks. Sorry, James, what did you say?
I said just blend into the wilderness a bit.
Something to blend into the wilderness. Okay. Alondri says, we are not we are not stocked for expeditions. Perhaps something more unusual. And she leads you over, and there is a robe that has some unusual. Do you speak Dwarven or not?
I do not.
Okay, so there's some markings that are similar to those on Oberon's cloak. Remember, because Oberon's Cloak of the Walking Wounded has Dwarven ruins on it?
Right.
So she walks over and she says, "This is an unusual piece we acquired recently." And she pulls this thing out, and it's a bit of, I think it's probably like a purple with like almost like pinkish red highlights in it, with these runes carved within. And she says, "Quite unique, would you not say?" And you can see that they are enchanted as well. Because I'm assuming you've got your senses up, right? The tailors of old, of course, knew how to properly size a robe, and to ensure a robe sizes to the wearer. And she sort of drapes this across your shoulders, and you can see that like the robes are a little too long at first, and as soon as she puts it on you, it kind of like whoop, moves up to being the perfect tailored length. And the robe, which drapes behind you at first, kind of shrinks up to. It doesn't make that sound. I'm making that sound because I'm a child, but because it moves up and it perfectly sizes itself, so it's a cinched, and it knows how you would wear it too. So if Ember would wear a fitted robe, right, that's how it's worn. If she would wear it more billowy and loose, that's how it sizes. This also has an enchanted quality to it as well. This is, of course, you can see that in amongst the impressive weave that's in here and the fine work that's done, it has magic worked into the fibers as well. And what So what the enchantment in this is, first off, it's obviously a magical armor, so it would grant you +1 to your armor class. It would also grant you +1 to the saving throw against ongoing damage. And as a daily healing action, as a minor action, you can use it when you use this. Sorry, you can use the power when you're taking ongoing damage, and the ongoing damage ends, and you gain regeneration equal to the amount of ongoing damage you were taking until the end of the encounter. So if you were taking ongoing 5 fire, and you use that ability, suddenly you would have regeneration 5 until the end of the encounter.
Right.
That's pretty
And
cool.
she said she seems to she gets a bit of a clever look in her eye. Hold on, what's your Amber's insight is garbage. You don't know what she's doing. So she's got that rope, that draped on you, and I imagine you've probably done, there's been time that you've been spending where you've been walking around the room, so you maybe have this thing on, and Oberon is checking in through the window for the 5th or 6th time. Oberon, people outside keep walking past you and keep kind of giving you an up and down.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. And that's
Maybe
what
gone
around.
to find back in the market, maybe there was someone selling a warm beverage or something like that.
You do have that cask of ale that you purchased in Drellin's Ferry. You could, in theory, go and try and sell that.
Oh, make some profit on it.
Yeah, I don't know what his plan was. Whether there was a mercantile.
I think it was to have ale on the journey.
Oh, okay, sure. So you start making your way around through the merchants, trying to see if there's anything of interest. Amber, when you've you're still sort of Alondri sort of steps back and she says, "That robe looks terribly good and so complimentary with your skin, my dear." And it's around now is when Halen comes back downstairs. He's putting his key focus back around his neck, and you have Immerstal coming down with you as well, carrying the scroll. So and then Immerstal says, "Oh, you found something, my quiet tiefling friend. That looks wonderful."
Yes, it is quite nice.
It is a lovely and so becoming.
But it's out of my range.
Out of your range? What do you mean by that? For purchase? Really? You, my friend, and he turns to Halen. Our deal is concluded. You have had an opportunity to observe my scroll, and I thank you for sharing such an unusual trinket. My dear, you would not believe the conversation we had. And Alondri says back to Immerstal, "I look forward to hearing of it, dear." I think Brent's saying something, but I can't hear him.
Yeah, he muted himself. That's the worst. You always forget.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was going to say, I'll ask Ingersoll, if I wish to purchase a scroll, how much are you asking for it?
Well, as I asked before, what would you pay for it?
We'd be willing to pay some gold, but we don't have much.
190.
What do you?
We are in between jobs at the moment, and
you guys have what? I think it's 105 gold right now.
Something like that.
But you gained a shit ton from. Yeah, I can't remember if I told. Did that include the loot you got from the Wolf Riders?
It did not.
It did not. So here's what you can do, guys. Basically, the money that you got from the Wolf Riders would be enough to purchase both the robe and the scroll. But it would leave you. It would. You would effectively net no other money from it. So Amber's kind of got a look on of looking at this robe and looking at you guys. Halen, you don't need to make an insight check to tell you that she seems pretty pleased.
I'll go with that cloak you got from the goblins.
Yeah, the Cape of the Mountebank. So what do you think? Will you accept their prices? You sort of do a little bit of haggling back and forth, and that's what the purchase price would be. Are you guys okay with that?
I think so. It's like a piece of our heritage.
I'm getting an echo from you now, Brent. I don't know what's going on.
I'm not quite sure.
That was me for a second.
Okay.
What do you think, Ron? I think this is a useful piece of our heritage. If you're in the store.
Oberon's outside.
No, he's outside.
Peering through the window.
But I mean, Oberon and Rackus bought a bunch of beer, so I mean, if you guys spend some of the money, that's probably.
A keg of beer for a new robe, that's a fair trade.
Okay, so we'll assume it is a done deal. So Immerstal and Erastil are, or not Erastil, what's her name? Elandri. Immerstal and Elandri are quite pleased with the purchase. They don't even make any faces when you turn over the mix of coinage that you managed to collect from the goblins, because it's certainly not one like, you know, it's some coins minted in ancient dwarven kingdoms and some coins that were minted by recent kingdoms and some Rhestilovar.
Like the little ball falls out with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a slug. Oh no, that's not actually part of the deal.
Okay, so you guys, yeah. So now, James, you effectively have an armor of sudden recovery. So it was. I'll update your character sheet accordingly, but you've got +1 to your AC now, and +1 to saves versus ongoing damage, and you can do that daily thing where you swap over the ongoing damage to become what do you call it? Regeneration.
Now, Kevin, just on a side note, I'm missing one of my cantrips.
Which cantrip?
Or sorry, spook.
You're missing on what? On Roll20 or on your character sheet? Or both?
Roll20.
Okay, I'll update it next time. I've got it on your character sheet. I just don't have it on your on Roll20. Oh, you know why, James? Because it's not a. Oh, it is an encounter. Yeah, I'll
I see
make sure
here it is on my character sheet.
Yeah, I'll make sure it's on there for next session. Okay, so anything else you guys want to do in Red Magic and Sundries before you head to the Broken Banner and meet Walter? Okay, so you guys leave. Brent, you're a little intrigued by the scroll. So do you want to know what the scroll will do, Brent, when you read it?
Yeah, that'd be cool.
It'll blow your head up.
It will
no, it's actually
within a 30-meter radius.
So what you get, Brent, is you will make a intelligence. Well, no, make an attack roll with whatever your stat is, Brent.
Okay.
Stat you do. On a hit, the target takes 2d10. What's your stat? Is it wisdom?
Dex.
Dex. It'll take 2d10 plus your dex modifier psychic damage, and then it takes a penalty to all defenses equal to your wisdom modifier until the end of your next turn. So it's a good way of, you know, like slamming and stunning or disorienting at least a single target. And when you do cast it, Brent, it will bridge your mind to connect with the echo of the being that wrote this. So that could be that you are you connect with an ancient elf. It could be apparently that you connect with an ancient minotaur, or perhaps something else.
That's kind of cool.
Okay.
So use it.
It uses it immediately on Oberon.
I connected.
Okay, so the Broken Banner, guys, is very easy to find. You can see that there is a crude sign of like a or that's been has a painted thing of like a red banner that's sort of like askew with what's supposed to be a broken stick there as well. And let me show you guys where you're going to be spending your evening. So here we go. Boom! Ye old broken banner. Place has already got some people in it. So let me put you in there, guys. Hold on. Where are your characters? Oh, they're not on here. I need to cut and paste. One sec. Where did I leave you? I left you on the road to Talar. Right. We are, guys. We'll go back. All right. So you step inside. Boom. Check this place out. As you guys are stepping in,
Smells like bar fight.
Someone from behind the bar says, hey, no pets, no pets. And he points at Kitty. Where do you keep Kitty when you go into a place like this?
Actually, I don't even think Kitty would come inside. He'd probably, like, I don't know, would perch on the roof of the stable or, you know, something like that.
Okay, we'll just put him over here for now. Boom.
He probably wouldn't come inside.
Okay, so there's a couple people who are waiting inside there at you know, and there's actually like at this point there's probably a couple more elsewhere, because at this point it's getting close to dinner time, and what do you guys do? So you walk in and ignore what I said about the guy kicking, you know, telling you to keep the cat out. What are you guys doing?
No.
Or what's the name of the fellow we're looking for?
Walter.
Walter. I guess we probably walk straight up to the bar and ask for Walter.
Okay. So you walk up, and there's it's an older guy who's got he's a little heavier. He's got kind of like curly gray hair, and he turns to you as you walk up, and he says, "What can I get you?"
I'll take an ale and
have a glass of wine.
Glass of wine for the horny lady.
And we're also looking for Walter.
Well, you found him. What were you looking for him for?
Well, our friend Kyle sent us to see you and said we should let you know.
Kyle? Are you from Overlook?
We're from Overlook.
Kyle sent you for the pig and bucket. You're not. You're going to have some better than this. And he takes the wine back before you can kind of drink it. He reaches under the bar and brings something up and then plunks some glasses down. He says, Kyle sent you. And he knew what he sent you for. Kyle, how's he doing?
Doing great.
That's great. And you're from Overlook, too.
Indeed.
We are.
Yes.
We are.
Look at it. Yes. We've got a minotaur and an elf and an ember. Kyle keeps such eclectic friends. And he brings up the glass and he sort of clinks it to you guys and, oof, you know, doffs it back and then waits to see if you drink yours too.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll down it.
Kindly all make a constitution check for me, please.
What the hell is he serving us?
Anyone who has any bonuses to resist poison, you can feel free to add that.
That's not good. That's not good.
Okay. All right. And okay. Halen and Ember, you guys are both suffering a level of fatigue as well. Whew. This is powerful stuff. It goes immediately to your head. So yeah, you both woo, but this is only the start of the evening. he laughs and says he sees all your traveling things and he says, come here. He says, we've got somewhere to store that. You don't need to be lugging that around. Get yourself settled in. I've got some stories to tell you. And that is the start of sort of a fairly raucous evening with our good friend Walter. What Walter tells you is he proudly displays right behind the bar. There is, and you I guess didn't notice it before because he was just talking. There is an actual broken banner, and on the banner there is the sigil of the Red Hand. And he says, you notice that Walter walks with a bit of a limp. What you find out is that Walter is actually a veteran of the first Red Horde. When the Red Horde attacked 20, whatever years ago, he fought in that conflict, and this was taken from Azar Kul's standard bearer. This is Azar Kul's banner.
Cool.
Yes, cool is right.
The symbol on it to the red hand that we've been finding on the goblins.
He sort of shakes his head. He's like, pretenders. Azar Kul was the spawn of a dragon and some hobgoblin bitch who died at birth. This Sinrith they're talking about? Pfft, please. That, and he sort of points to the banner again. That was a threat. This, pretenders to the throne. Nothing more. Caravan guards are simply not as tough as the nice. I don't just cow. We're bull. Yeah. Okay, so do you guys say anything to, I guess in response? Like he's not intentionally trying to insult you guys. He's just sort of like, that you guys don't do it the way we used to. Kind of.
No, not at all. I will go banter back and forth with him. I'll tell him that about the goblins we faced on the road from Outlook.
He's impressed. Hear that you guys aren't just you're not just noise. Let me go ahead and move yourselves around a table, guys. Pick a table and sit yourself down.
Probably close to the bar, yeah, that's a good one. Stick a roll 20.
Okay. So you guys all find a table to... someone has to redirect Ember to a chair. Over here, honey. There you go. So you guys are sitting down, and Walter is quite impressed. With your tales of... Like when you tell him where you fought the first those pack of goblins, he seems to know that, like, there was a watchtower that Azar Kul used there. From there, they directed the siege of Drellin's Ferry. Did you know they razed Drellin's Ferry to the ground?
No.
We did not. Although we did notice the lack of bridge and the lack of defenses around the town.
You would think that 2 decades would be enough time to think that walls are one of the things that prevented the Horde from besieging Brindle.
Walls would come in handy.
walls would, you, my elvish friend. I believe you've got a gift for the understatement. So we ask a little bit more about where you guys are from, how you guys know Kyle. How did you guys get to know Kyle anyway? We haven't dealt with that before, but I'm just curious if you can tell me, how did you guys settle on the Pig and Bucket as your place?
Well, I know that Oberon befriended Edders. Is that his name?
Yep, the cook. Yep.
Yeah. And that would have been part of the reason that he would have been there lots.
Okay. So you got to know Kyle through Edders. He's still working there.
Oh, yes, of course.
Incredible. Incredible. Things, so much time passed and so few things change. And this is sort of like, there's a whole evening that's been going on now too. So like the place fills up a bit and then it sort of lets out a bit. And we're probably at about, I don't know, like 11 o'clock or so right now, but he's really, you're not feeling the weariness. Whatever weariness you felt from the road feels a bit better now. So actually, oh, tell me, Ember and Halen, do you have a strategy for managing Walter's insistence on you guys going, keeping pace with him?
Yes, when he if he does a shot, I'll do a sip.
Okay. I think I'd like you to do, Brent, give me a thievery check. Let's see if you can.
By this point, Amber's just continuing to drink because she's so drunk that
it's matching a forest fire.
Yep.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay, so Brent, yeah, you're able to trick him. He's not noticing that. So it's about, like I said, it's about that time when you've got. Let me think here, Halen. No, from where you are, I don't think. I don't think you can hear anything. So you guys are all around this table here, and that's when you hear. There's a smash at the door. And this genuinely seems to, I know I'm not really giving a lead up here, but this genuinely seems to be completely out of nowhere. There's a smash at the door, and then let me see if any of you guys would understand this. Nope. 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 So what you hear is, something to the kind of like, "Das truth, set us as are cool." And yeah, one sec here. It is. You can hear shouting from the other side of the bar. And let me go to my proper layer here. Oh, wrong thing. Where am I? There I am. Oh, shit, fuck. That is not what I wanted to do.
Green flame.
You're the Baylor away.
Good shot, Jeff. Oh, shit. I am incredibly easily amused.
I don't know if Brenton...
No, I don't think you guys... I don't think they've watched Acquisitions Incorporated.
No.
Okay, here.
Negative.
It's worth watching if you want to take the time.
Okay, let me move these in here. The first couple of... in particular, the first, 6 years worth of stuff is really fucking funny.
Yeah.
All right. So the door has smashed, and there are foes approaching. All right. So, oh yeah, sorry. Actually, I've done that. I've done that wrong.
Sorry, what's in the door?
If you take a look on the map, I believe you can see.
Hungry Bears.
So from where you are, right now, player wise, you can see what's what's there, but character wise, you cannot. So let's. Oh damn it! Sorry guys, I'm a fucking idiot here. There we go. All right, now would you kindly click on your token, and then click on initiative, guys, because shit's going down. Let me clear your... There we go. Clear. Go ahead, guys. Nice. Okay, hold on.
Seriously?
I will go before Oberon.
Not bad for drunk lady.
My two
Yeah,
initiatives
Oberon,
today
what
were
the shit?
2 and 1.
You are not having a. Whoa, shit. So these guys are fast. All right, guys. Actually, Jesus, but Halen is faster. All right. So, Halen, you were up first here. So you hear this, like I said, you hear the smash and that shout, and the only phrase you can make out on that is, of course, Azarkul. So what are you going to do?
I'll get up from the table quickly. I will sort of. I don't know if I react immediately because the town is walled in, and like it doesn't seem like it would have come under attack without us noticing. But I am curious to see what's going on.
Here's what I'll suggest, Brent. Why don't for this round you have either a move. It's effectively like stunned, right? Like where you're either of a move or you have a standard action. And I take it you're taking a move to sort of like, what the hell is?
Yeah, pretty much. Because I wanted to, like, we're not in the wilderness. We're like, holy shit, we're being ambushed by goblins. Or like, we're in a well-defended, walled-in city.
Yeah. No, totally. Okay, so why don't you just position your character so you've got line of sight to those guys? Excuse me, and then I'll go with them. So what you see, as soon as you see it, you see there are 4 of these tall, sallow-skinned, like an orangey kind of like. Why does orange skin immediately go to a fucking Trump joke now? Stop ruining D&D jokes, real world.
If they're wearing Trump mask, I'm gonna run away screaming.
Sorry, Trump mask, yeah. Okay, so and they're dressed in. It's very similar actually to what you can see in the tokens there. I don't think I did. Did I do any handouts? I did not. But you know what? Give me a sec here. And I know I just... Where are they? Where are they? Here we go.
They keep shifting shape.
They keep changing shape, sorry?
Yeah. Look like a knight, then an ogre, then a hobgoblin.
Oh, yeah. Hold on. I'm going to add a handout here for you, so just so I can share the... Oops, fuck no. Hold on. Okay, where is he? 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 There he is. Here we go. All right, I know both Brent and me like pictures, so here we go, guys. Armored and with a vicious sword and spiked shield. These guys burst in and are, one of them sort of like studies the group and then sort of cool and points at the banner above the bar. So there are, let's see here, of these 4. Let's remove. I think 2 of them are going to go for the banner, and 2 of them are going to go for. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. So one of them sort of is on top of the bar at this point, and the other one is sort of racing beside him. And these 2 guys run out of your view, and you can hear shouting, Brent, from the other side of the bar. And by shouting, I mean screams, as one of the hobgoblins stabs his big sword through one of the patrons. Okay, next up is Ember. What are you doing?
I am doing an erupting flame.
You can't see. Remember where you are, and there's that big fireplace right in the middle there. Do you mean to the?
I thought that was a table.
Hobgoblins to your if you're turning towards them, I guess your left, near the bar.
Those are bar ones, and there's the ones killing people. You might have noticed that.
I see these two over here.
Okay, so you go racing over, and then go ahead and click on whatever you're using. Oops, sorry, I went on the wrong fucking page. Whoa, okay, so that a vertical column of golden flame burns all within, and this explosion of fire explodes next to the guy who's on the bar, who's sent flying to this against the wall and then collapses down and lays still. Make your attack against the second guy. Oh yeah,
Probably burp after I cast.
You sorry? You burp after you cast.
Promptly burp after I cast.
Okay, so that is it for Amber, I think. Anything else, or that good? I think that's it. So, Oberon, what are you doing?
I go.
You can't move after your. Remember, you can't split up your move.
Realize.
Yeah. Oberon, what are you doing? You've heard Amber just cast a spell and blew up a bunch of hobgoblin troops that seem to be moving in formation.
And I did this guy over here scream in the corner?
Yeah, the guys over here screamed, and you can hear these guys over here shouting.
Okay, yeah. How far can I move?
I think your move is a 5 or a 6.
So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll move to there.
Speed's a 5. Okay, so you go running towards them, and what do you do?
Who knows?
He says, "You picked the wrong night to break into here."
Okay. And then we are at the top of the initiative. Hey, Len, what do you want to do?
That fireplace goes right up to the ceiling?
It does, yeah.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Halen, you'll be the first one to have an opportunity to see this. You can see the symbol on the shield. Do you want to guess it?
Would it happen to be a red hand?
It is a red hand.
Woo! First prize from me. Wait, let me move him. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Where are you going?
Towards the golems. I can't make it unless I double move.
Remember, Brent, like I don't want you to be too board gamey. Just pick where you want to do and start moving your guy. Don't count out the moves beforehand, please. Awesome. Like if you end up getting fucked over by like a square of movement because of difficult terrain as a result of that, we can do narrative cool shit to get you beyond that.
Yeah, I just couldn't think of how to get him closer. I could leap over the fire, but if it's going up to the ceiling, then it's just a block.
Don't you have one of your stances that grants you reach?
If I use a daily.
It's up to you. You can hear the sound of more. As you sort of race past Brent, you can see that there's fucking chaos outside right now. You can hear screams from coming outside of the tavern as well. Both in languages you understand and those you do not. Strange, evil, foreign tongues.
Well, you know what? To be quite honest, so far this campaign, I've not managed to use that daily at all.
It sounds like it's time to break it out then.
Yeah. Well, I will do a masterful spiral.
Okay. Ooh, Dinah. So that is fucking crazy good. Brent, give me one more roll of that to see if you hit the other hobgoblin. 1, 2. Oh, you know what? You can only hit one, I think. Unless, are you
each enemy? Oh, hang on.
within 2? 1, 2. No, that's within 2. You're right, Brent. No, you're right. You hit both. So just give me the attack roll against the second one. badass. I believe that hits both of them. So what's the cool... Do you want to give a cool effect on that? Because you kill both of them.
Halen's by the bar when the other two erupt into flame. So he sees that the other tavern is that one of the patrons has been stabbed, and he rushes over and he leaps. He does this like jump over the patron sitting at the table across from the fire, lands on the table, leaps again, and lunges with his spear and stabs one goblin, and then spins around and kicks the second.
Remember, it's a close burst too, so... Oh yeah, maybe you do that, and as you spin yourself around, you land back where you began. So one of the goblins is slammed against the wall and then lies still on the ground, dead, and the other is gurgling and trying to prevent his life's blood from spewing out into his neck. All right, goblin's turn. So through the door, another 3 hobgoblins come running. Let me think here. 1, 2. Oh, and they see you. So there are 2 that are coming to engage with you there, Halen. You know what? I think because of that fucking table, there's another one standing next to you, but only one of them has enough move to actually attack you. The other is running this way. There we go. And then there is a little nasty-looking goblin who comes, green-skinned, his little ears flipping around, his beady little eyes kind of look around, and he sees that there are these people over here. Let me put him in here. And he tosses something at you. Ooh, and it goes wild. It is a kind of spinning torch. And as soon as it hits the table, because it doesn't actually go to where it was intended, it hits maybe like a chair and falls on the table, and it falls out into all these bits, and it sort of like covers the area. So there's been it's basically like a little, kind of like a firebomb type thing. Twigs lit, and then as soon as it hits, it falls apart and then spreads the flame across the table. If that had hit the people, they'd be in real bad shape. If it hit the wall, it could have caught it on fire. So he says something because he's pissed that it didn't hit where it was supposed to. And that's it for the goblins. Oh, I got one of those hobgoblins. They come racing up, and these guys, Brent, appear to be pretty well trained compared to a lot of the other goblins you fought. They're sort of fighting in a bit of a formation, protecting each other with their shields. But I rolled a fucking nat 1. So one of them hits, and I think he's actually knocked himself out of formation because he tried to follow through and hit you. So he can staggers. So they're not going to benefit from their phalanx formation for the next round. Nice. Ember, what do you do?
I'm going to do another Scorching Burst.
Okay. So you remind me again, is it a wand is your implement, or is it something else?
Staff.
Staff. Okay. So you stand back, and again the flame sort of bursts around, or sort of like coils around the end of your staff, and then you bring your hand down, and it sort of arcs up and then explodes down. Are you trying to hit this hobgoblin grunt? This guy here?
No, these guys are over here. Oh,
you remember that's a chimney that goes all the way up to the ceiling.
Yeah. I will hit there. I'll hit. Yeah. This one.
That guy seems to be going for the banner again. Go ahead and make your attack roll. Ooh, you rolled a nat 1, so that will be a miss. You do have, I think, you're sitting on a couple action points if you want to use them. We're spreading the nat 1s around.
Yeah. We're going to do action point.
Okay. So go ahead just to mark your action point off. You bolster an attack with a roiling hellfire, drawing upon your infernal heritage to burn your foe. Burn and terrify your foe.
That was misclicked. That wasn't supposed to happen.
Okay. So what do? You spend your action point. You now have another standard action. You still have a move and a minor. Oh, right. You got your Staff of Missile Mastery. I forgot. Okay, and is that Erupting Flame? Okay, so you
Fell again.
You hit the ground and it explodes and unfortunately misses, and your eyes sort of flare with even more fire. There's little like sort of burning cinders that are coming out of your horns at this point, and you pull back again and then bring it down. And let me see here, 14. Oh, these things are tough. So it explodes, but it's brought its shield down. It explodes, and the fire carries over this thing's shield, and then it looks as the flames part. This thing looks at you, and you can see that its focus has now shifted from the banner to you. So what are you going to do? You still have a move if you like. And then next up will be Oberon.
What Galen used to do is a move action to do a minor. I'm going to do the Wizard's Fury.
Okay.
And I'm going to do a minor action to do the Magic Missile.
Okay, so you see that he's going to do towards that. Awesome. Okay, and that's an auto hit. Is it against the Hobgoblin Grunt again?
Yeah.
Okay, so he sort of like grits his teeth and he's about to take towards you, and you dismissively wave your hand, and these shots, or we call like these arcane bolts, sort of fly out and explode through this guy's chest plate and out the back. When he's down, dead. He's not looking so tough now. Oberon, what would you like to do?
I will Goring charge at this Black Blade guy here, past the fireplace.
That is... Ooh, you're going through difficult terrain, though. I don't think you can charge through difficult terrain. James, am I wrong on that? Can you charge through difficult terrain? Or is that not a thing?
That's not a thing. It just takes double that.
Okay, that's fine by me. Then yeah, absolutely. So you go charging through this. This table's burst aside. Oberon, go ahead and give me an attack, will you? Please. Holy shit. Yeah, so this guy is knocked clear to the ground. Alrighty, so he is hurt. Do you wish to do anything else? That was just a standard and that was just a standard, actually. Do you want to spend it? You can spend an action point and take another standard if you like, because you do get +5 damage versus prone targets, and he is on the ground.
Yeah, might as well do that. I have 2 of those.
So purple is prone. Yeah, go ahead. Decide what you want to do, and then go ahead and make your roll.
That's just a great axe attack, then, right?
No, you can use any kind of. You use you could use one of your any of your powers. That's a standard action.
The green ones are the ones that I can just do over and over, right?
That's right, yeah. And your so standard actions, you got your Goring Charge. Yeah, then it would be Focusing Strike or Ire Strike. I think Focusing Strike is the one you would want.
Yeah.
The other one is Granting an Attack. You get +2 to hit. Oh! Look at that! Fucking nat 20. Oh, sorry, no. That's damage. That's damage. Ignore me. Still, you do hit, because of 26 versus AC. You get +5 to damage, which means that's 18 damage. Let's see. Yeah, so you knock this thing to the ground, and then while your brother would be raging with fury at this point, using your Focusing Strike, you are an epitome of calm. It's almost graceful the way that you bring your great axe up and down on this goblin, and you lay him still on the ground. He is dead. And you bring out the axe from his corpse, like it's, with the flourish of, a dancer almost. Do you have anything else you wish to do? You still have a minor action.
He just yells out, "Sorry about the table."
All right. Next up is Halen. What are you doing?
You know what? I will shift 1.
Okay.
And then attack the guy in Self and Jeff there. And I will, what shall I do here? I will do a Dragon Tail against him.
Okay. Go ahead.
Where's my Dragon Tail?
Ooh,
Do I get flanking bonus?
You're attacking the one on the top there?
Yeah.
Then absolutely you do. So +2, so that's 14 versus Fort. Unfortunately, well, even without the phalanx bonus, you lash out at this guy and he gets his shield in place and bang, it hits that. However, you can use your move action. One ally or one prone enemy. He's not prone. Did you want to spend... Again, you can re-roll with an action point if you like, Brent.
Yeah. All right, let me try that again.
Okay. Make sure you take your action point off your total, and then see how it goes. 16. That is much better. Okay, so instead of missing, you fucking nail this guy, and you send him sprawling back across the table to fall behind where Oberon is, dead, of course. And okay. I take it you're going to use your whatever it's called, Brent. The
Fury of Blows on the other guy.
He dies. So you knock the one to the side and then sort of spin around and bring your knee up against the face of the other one who's lowered his shield too low, and you hear a sickening crack as your knee drives his neck to the side, and then you land. Just in time to have more hobgoblins come running in.
The city has a high population of hobgoblins.
As I said, like when you passed by, it is mayhem outside. Oberon, you get an attack of opportunity against one of these guys.
Excellent, I will use it. So do I just use a normal attack for that, right?
Yes, you do. Yep.
They keep coming right to me.
This.
Okay, and then there's one more Black Blade that comes in as well too. So go ahead, Oberon, 18 versus AC. Oh, you know what? You're about to hit this guy, and then his ally, the other hobgoblin, sort of shoves him forward, so your axe just barely misses. You would have connected with this guy if not for that phalanx soldier bonus. Okay, so there's 2 hobgoblins who are in now.
That's crazy.
What's that?
That's just high. That's a high defense.
These guys are real. They're real tough to hit with on the AC. Let me see here, Brent. Where are you? AC. Oh, Halen. So one of them barely manages. The 2 of them come charging in with their swords, and they're sort of, they're jabbing their spiked shields at you, and then taking sort of pot shots at you with their giant blades. You're able to dodge out of the way of one of them, but unfortunately the other one clips you just a bit, and you take 5 points of damage.
Okay.
Yeah. And then for these other 2 ones, this hobgoblin is trying to shield the Black Blade. And the Black Blade, however, is much more interested in blowing shit up. So he's going to toss a... let's see here. Evens, it's Oberon. Nope, it's going against Halen, so he's going to try and tosses this little burning torch. Okay, that's not great. So Brent, you are unfortunately hit. You don't take much damage from this as this explodes, but you take 3 more points of damage, Brent. It's fire damage.
Okay.
And then there is a... Let me create a little shape here. So around you here in this direction, I'll put it. This is burning now on the ground. There's all stuff, and it's beginning to catch on the floor. Okay, so next up is Amber. What are you doing?
Amber stumbles over to here, leans against the fireplace.
I love that.
And then blasts the black blade with 2 castings of magic missile.
Nice. Okay, so how much damage? What did you just click on it? Let's see how much. I can't remember how much it does. 9. Holy shit. All right. So, man, that seriously bloodies it. So this thing, it sort of throws it, and then you reach over, and still with sort of like the glowing arcane bolts that you had from the last one, you bring your sort of clawed hand up, and again that bluish energy goes around your hand, flies out. The hobgoblin brings his shield up, and your arcane bolts sort of go directly towards the shield, and then you arc around it and slam into the black blade with uncanny accuracy.
Nice.
Anything else?
Nope, that's it.
Okay, so he's really badly hurt. Oberon,
Not
what would
to
you like
fall
to do?
over.
I guess attack the one that's sort of right beside me there, between me and Aelin.
Okay, what would you like to do? What power, I guess, I mean. I'll remind you to just your with your psychic powers, like those at wills. Remember, you can use your psychic points to juice up the power of that.
Right.
I'm not saying you necessarily need to do that against these guys. Just you can.
I guess I probably just use this one.
The black.
The black blade is still alive. Yeah, really badly hurt though. It's the goblin equivalent of having the wind knocked out of him.
Well, that is a nat. That is.
Holy shit, that's a nat 20. Fuck yes. So that's 34 damage. I'm going to let you kill 2 of them with that. So again, with this uncanny clarity, you just carve your way through those 2 hobgoblins, and I'll let you move one forward if you like.
Yeah, I probably took a step and.
Yeah, so, and it's all seems to be part of the same motion from bringing the axe out of the black blade and then spinning around. Okay, so I think next up is Halen. What are you doing? So first, what I need from you, Halen, is I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to. I think you take 5 points of fire damage.
Okay.
For the burning. So, but not, then as soon as you get out of this burning area, you'll be fine.
All right.
So you're kind of taking a beating this round. And then go ahead and take your turn. There's a very badly injured black blade ahead of you and a hobgoblin grunt who's trying to protect him.
Okay. I will open the gates of battle versus the hobgoblin.
Nice.
The goblin guy.
The
Sorry.
black blade or the hobgoblin grunt?
The black blade.
Okay, yeah, go ahead and make your attack roll, Brent. We'll be finishing up here momentarily, guys. I know we're over time. I figured you wouldn't mind because we started a little late. Oh, yeah, that absolutely hits. So you suddenly lurch forward, and the black blade, his little beady red eyes almost have a... he's just had enough time to see you as your kick lands square in his face, and again, his little neck is broken, and his body goes hurtling to the side. And I take it you're going to follow up against the hobgoblin grunt?
Yeah, he takes 5 points.
Nice. So you kick this thing, and the hobgoblin grunt goes, or not the hobgoblin grunt, the black blade, his broken neck and broken body flies to the ground, and then you sort of spin around and then bring your spear, the blunt end, into the hobgoblin grunt's back, and it shatters his spine with the momentum, and he kind of and falls to the ground. where you plant your spear in his neck and up. And it's that moment that you hear there's some massive explosion from outside, guys.
Let us go look and see.
Yeah. Ember's going to bounce from table to table till she gets to the door.
Okay. So let me show you what you see, guys. Actually, that won't work. Oh, hold on. Stop. I need to get you. Stumble drunk. Oh, what'd you do to your character? Did you just delete your character?
No.
Where'd you go?
No.
Where's your token?
What?
I'm right next to Halen.
Oh, there it is. Okay, sorry. I couldn't see. All right, hold on here. Okay. All right, so you guys step outside into the streets of Brindle. Look at this big old map, guys.
Oh.
All right.
Now, this map has in the past crashed Roll20 for me, so I'm hoping it doesn't do it right now. It is a very processor-intensive map because it's pretty big. You already see my camera starting to jerk a little bit. Yeah, my page has become unresponsive. Jesus. Hold on. Let's see.
We don't even see all the map.
No, I know it's going to take a moment to load. This is I have learned a lesson here that I cannot the old thing about can God make a stone too big for him to pick up? Apparently there is a map that I can make in Roll20 that Roll20 cannot handle. I'm going to hold on. Come on, you. Run, you little horse. Oh, most of the map has displayed now. Oh, there we go. No, wrong fucking map. What am I doing here? There we go. Streets Brindle. Yeah, I can see it now. See where you are? Boom.
I only see a portion of it, I think.
Can you see where the bar is? And you guys have stepped outside?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you hear it's to your left, near the top of the screen, is where you hear this explosion again. And then, let me tell you what you see. So as you are looking, you're stunned. Boom, to see. Wheeling around this corner is a... There we go. Creaking behind it is a wagon. And in the back of the wagon, there are a bunch of giant casks. And behind the casks, there are two hobgoblins. Orange-skinned, sinister, cruel-looking things with archers that are firing at fleeing citizens. And attached to the wagon at the front is this enormous, muscular creature who lumbers along with the casks in his hand. He hurls one at where that dry goods store is, and as it explodes, you realize that it's full of burning oil. And it sets the dry goods store aflame. This creature stands a staggering like 9.5 feet tall, nearly to the point where it could easily reach the roof. But around its waist is this bizarre harness dragging this thing behind it. And as it reaches back to grab a new cask, it locks its beady yellow eyes down at you guys, bellows a challenge, grabs a cask, turns, and we will roll initiative next time. So that is where we'll leave it for this evening. You guys will have an opportunity to spend your healing surges, like take a short rest. You're not going to have 5 minutes. We're just going to have this be a dramatic sort of like you catch your breath. So we can do that right now, or you can do that next time at the start of the next session. But that's where we will leave it, with this ogre savage hitched to a wagon coming down on you guys. So let me, just as we loaded up the map too, let me get out of here. Boom. Let's see here.
Well, I can do my healing surges now. I'm going to need them.
And did we, Kevin, did we gain a level? Died.
Okay. Oops. Armor can't get. I'm hearing myself as well. Let's see here. Okay, so there we are. Is my camera not working? It is working. So that is where we're leaving it for the evening, guys. For those listening at home, thanks so much for joining us for session, I believe, 4 of our ongoing campaign. If you have, as always, any questions, comments, or concerns regarding this, please don't hesitate to leave a comment in the comment section below. Otherwise, we will look forward to seeing you again next time. Thanks.